Is it? I don't know. I don't know how it's going to look. I'm hoping it'll work okay. And we'll get snooking alright.
Yeah, I have no idea
This
what
is
the
very
fuck that was.
improvised.
Here we go.
This is how I just improvise all these things. Let's put the browse source here. So I'm going to get the good old Snook in. And Snook will probably do Discord. I don't know if you're listening, dude, but we can do Discord chat.
Ah, right, I meant to do the other screen.
Ring him first.
Yep. And then...
Where's the Snook? Where's the Snook?
I need to turn off that
I don't know if he
filter.
wants to... I've never done stream together voice thing. Where's the right one?
There we go.
Well,
okay, now I've got Cassidy up there.
Let's see. Let's have a look. So we'll... Oh, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Oh, oh no, Snook's out! Include my camera. Well, we don't need my camera. Maybe I need to invite him again. We'll see if Snook joins us on the stream together or Discord. We'll see how we go. Yeah, I've just called Snook. I don't know if you got that. See if Snook can join us on the Discord, and then we can sort the rest of the tech and get going.
There we go.
Hey, Snook, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Cassidy?
How's it going? I'm good. I'm good. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to see
Alright.
if I can get the stream stuff going. So yeah, usually if it's okay with you, Discord call seems to work well for audio, but we can try and get camera if you want to do camera as well on stream together, maybe.
Well, I've got mine
usually
going.
Works, right?
My stream going. I've got you up in my corner so that you know, I can present you as well.
As in, have you got the stream or the camera?
Like my stream going, not just the camera necessarily.
So have you used stream together for video before? Because usually I can just grab your camera if you're able to join that. I don't know if you want another invite.
Yeah.
I can just do a browser link.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and yeah, I'll try to join with you, and we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll fuck around and find out.
I don't know if using the camera is going to mess up my stream at all.
Okay.
But let's see.
Let's see. Right, so we're going to pop you in. Let's have a look. There we go. So we've got your camera kind of ready.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. That is the motto, Lady Highness, it is. You might need to enable your camera. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah, it says it's in use elsewhere. It's because I'm also streaming with it.
Oh, so will it not? Oh, that's weird. I swear I've done this before. Maybe not. Interesting.
I mean, at least that's what it's saying to me. Yeah, but
interesting.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not upset.
Have you have you done a screen share of us then? How have you done this side?
So it's just up in my screen. Like usually I'll have the main screen where I'm doing gameplay, and then myself up in the top right corner of the screen. That's where you're at right now. So I wanted to full screen you so that, you know, anyone else watching can see you.
So is that just a screen capture of the stream, or have you got my camera another way?
No, I'm just
being rigged in.
Yeah, I'm just rolling with your stream.
Okay, right. Well, let's maybe do that instead then. So if I get rid of the... I'm so bad at collab, Snook. You have to bear with me, dude. I'm honestly like... Writer usually teaches me how to do this when I collab with Writer.
And I'm not going to lie, it is mostly on Twitch because they don't describe and instruct how to do this stuff very well. Because I looked through all the how-tos so I could do this with a couple of friends, and it was ridiculous.
So let's have a look. So if I bring your stream up, and I'll just mute it, but I'll be there, then we can have you there, I guess.
That's the important part.
Exactly. We want to be able to see you. Let's have a look. I'm going to get my Twitch up then. I'll see if I can do a screen share of that. I've never thought of doing it this way. That's fascinating. I've never thought of doing it this way. Oh yeah, you got the whole screen up. I see.
Yeah.
Right. What I'm going to do then... Thank you, Writer, for hanging out. I appreciate you, dude. Let me see.
Now, so I don't know if it's including both of our chats at this point.
Oh yeah, we have to do shared chat. Let's have a look.
Yeah, how do we do
Where's
that?
There we go. Start sharing chat. I've clicked the button. I think it works. Maybe.
There we go. Yep, I think that's it. Hopefully that works.
Maybe.
Yes! Score, you got
Right,
it.
here we go. So, oh, there we go. Oh my god, we got like double. Hang on. I'm gonna
Oh, goodness.
bring this down. Let's crop it. I'm gonna crop to your camera, dude, if that's okay.
Yeah, no
I'm
problem.
gonna do the little camera bit. Let's bring it around. We're just gonna run Snook around. Look, we're just pushing Snook around my screen at the moment. How rude of me. We're pushing Snook all over the place. Here we go. Right, let's see if we can get a rough half and half. I'll adjust my camera a bit as well, so it can kind of get us half in the middle a little bit.
Now, the audio video is going to be off by a little bit, and that's because
Yes.
Discord is much faster than the rest of everything else, so...
It's true. So we'll see how we roll. But hello, Snook. It's good to see you. Hopefully everyone can see stuff.
Yeah,
and hear stuff.
Hopefully it's all good. We just need to make sure everybody can hear us, because that's the important part.
Let us know in chat if you can hear Snook well, and everyone can hear stuff.
Yeah.
You got it situated. Oh, Lady Highness, no way. I've never got anything situated well in life.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that our audio on both ends are good, because, you know, then we can actually have a good discussion. Both parties being heard.
Audio is good. So yeah, like Snook says, there might be a little bit of a lag between visual and audio. But if you focus on the audio, I guess, you can see us, we're here. But the audio isn't what's important, right? So thank you guys in chat for confirming that you can hear us okay. That is what matters. And yeah, welcome to Shared Chat, everybody. I love to see it.
Yeah.
And thank you for the shout out, Gray. I appreciate it. I appreciate
that.
There's Snook. I love it. Yeah, there's always a balance.
So
I get it.
I know you've said that you kind of do things more like, play it by ear sort of thing.
I can be.
Well, usually when I do public speaking, I like to try and have some sort of idea of what I want to get done and accomplished and topics that I want to actually, bring up and discuss. So if you don't mind, I'm going to steal the spotlight for just a moment to let everyone in chat know, while we're doing this, I have a little mini game for us to play while we're going on and chatting. So really quick, the idea is I have a build your own adventure idea. And what we're going to do is between each topic, I'm going to list off 5 things to Cassidy. She picks her favorite 2. And then Gray, if we can, get a poll in chat of those 2 things, and everyone in chat can decide which one they like better. So then by the end of everything, we will have a full adventure that we can discuss with chat.
Ooh. I like that. That sounds very, very fun.
Right.
I love that, Snook. Hell yeah.
Well, then first things first, do you want to go ahead and do some full introductions?
Yeah, of course. Well, first of all, Snook, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to tell people a little bit, if they haven't met you before, what you're about, what your experience is, either streaming or D&D, whatever your focus you want it to be. Just give us a little intro of you. Tell us about yourself, if you like.
I'm not normally the kind of person that likes to talk about themselves. I just like to discuss ideas primarily. Things that excite the brain. That's really my go-to. However, in this instance, I do go by Auditor Snook on most of my socials, including here on Twitch, as well as on Kick, because I am dual streaming, FYI. And usually my friends just call me Snook, but my real close pals call me G. So whatever you're comfortable with, it's cool, as long as you never say my full real government name. I do not like that. Please do not do that.
That's fair. That is fair.
So beyond that, I like to think of myself as a writer, game designer, professional DM. I'm also a professional cuddle buddy, so there is that. You might not have known.
I love it. I love that. Get it all out. I love it.
So beyond that, that's really all there is to know about me. I started streaming not too long before I met Cassidy, actually. I do believe I was already streaming for, 2 weeks or a month, and then I met you?
Amazing.
I believe.
I think it was through a Facebook group, right? Is that how?
Yeah.
Is that how you? It was crazy. I love it.
I was just scrolling one day and happened to see your post come up, and it was within 5 minutes, and I was like, "Huh, let me check this person out." And I pulled up the stream, and Chat was going wild. Everybody's carrying on, having a good time. And I was like, ooh, I want to be here. This is fun.
Dude, you've been an awesome addition. It's been such a pleasure to meet you, and I hope you don't mind me saying a bit about your streams, because I obviously don't know like necessarily what plans you might have for future streams. But one of the things I really enjoy is that you do a little bit of like D&D planning and chat in stream as well, right? And I've loved sitting in on those sessions and kind of just seeing how your brain works. That's been really enjoyable. I love that you do that.
Thank you. I haven't done that in a
That's
while.
really
I do want to
interesting.
get back into it, but that is something that I started on Twitch with, actually. That was
Yeah.
originally what I wanted to do as content, was show everyone that it's not hard to be a dungeon master or just a game master in general, like a storyteller. I'm a lazy ass DM. I'm not even gonna lie about it, okay?
No way. I
Straight-
don't believe you. I don't believe you.
So I always look for the easiest way to assemble things without doing too much prep. And there's a reason for that. And we can get to that as part of our talking points later. So enough about me. I would like to introduce the very first part of our Build Your Own Adventure.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Go for it, Snoop.
first thing is step 1, which is choose the setting. So where in the grand multiverse is this adventure going to take place? Your options are Spelljammer, which is, wild space adventures with airships and cosmic horror vibes. It's basically Treasure Planet, but D&D.
Amazing.
You've also got Planescape, which is about weird portals, factions, and very heavy on philosophy-driven adventures. If you're not familiar with Planescape, I highly recommend just checking it out one day.
Noted. I love that.
Number 3 shall be the Forgotten Realms. You've played Baldur's Gate 3. You already know the Forgotten Realms.
Yep.
Fourth option is Greyhawk, which is Gary Gygax's original D&D campaign. Argued to be one of the first, but that's a bit of a hot topic between Dave Arneson fans and Gygax fans, but we'll leave that out. So that's more of like a Tolkien-inspired. Number 5 is Eberron, which is all about pulp action, noir cities, Magitech, especially their magic trains, totally cool, and Warforged, where constructs were actually used to fight magic wars. So of these 5, what do you think would be your favorite?
Well,
for this?
It's interesting because Writer has asked in the chat. I don't know if you want to take questions as we go as a bit of a prompt, but
sure.
has asked about philosophy-driven adventures. What does that mean? How would you explain that, Snook?
So the way that Planescape works is it's not a setting about places. It's a setting about philosophy. Every philosophy in the multiverse, the values and traits that the Celestials embody, that is a philosophy. The contracts and adherence to the letter of the law, that's a very devil's thing, right? And they exist in the planes, but these are all philosophies. And everybody can embody each of these philosophies. So no matter who you are, you fit somewhere in this setting. And that's what philosophy-driven means. Is I think I would personally be part of the Sensates. And the Sensates are basically people that believe you should experience all the sensations of life. Everything that looks beautiful, everything that hurts bad, everything that tastes sweet, all of the extreme sensations. I'm one of those kinds of people. So I think that would be one of my factions, but that's essentially what it's about. So it's not really the adventure itself, though you can pull that in.
I love that. I love that. Well, yeah, I'm kind of drawn to that because when you said philosophy, I just thought what I really like playing with as a DM is belief systems and different factions, and that kind of stuck out to me straight away. So I'm going with Planescape, I think, as one of them for sure. I think that's a really cool idea. 100%, 100%. Also, hello, Cloudroth. Welcome on in. I think that might be someone from your end, Snoop. Welcome on in, dude.
Yeah, Cloud's a really cool guy.
Hello.
Appreciate you being here, bro.
Amazing. Yeah, welcome on in. Now, I need a reminder of the last name, but when you talked about Warforged and this kind of almost like a little bit steampunk, I want to say. I don't know if you feel it's steampunky, but it sounded a little bit like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say is as a follow-up. It is literally a steampunk D&D setting.
Amazing. Yeah, there you go. I'm going with that one as well. I love that. That's super cool.
So, if possible, if one of the mods can offer up the poll to the chat, we've got Planescape, and then the other option is Eberron.
Amazing. How are we spelling that, Snook? Are you able to pop it in the chat for Kieran?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think Kieran might give it a go, just so we got the bits. There you go, Snook's going to pop in chat, just so it's nice and easy. And anyone who's interested as well can look these up. Just so we're making sure we're spelling things right. There you go, perfect. Thank you, Snook. There you go, Kieran.
Of course.
I was going to do polls, but if you've got it, Kieran, that'd be amazing. So if you
I was hoping they might do it so that by the time we get to the next topic, we can then like see what was picked, and then we'll go to the next one.
Amazing. Well, yeah, Kieran, do drop me a message if you need any help with that, dude. But it'd be amazing if you can set that up. So let us know if you need any help with that. But I love that. That's a really cool. I mean, those worlds could almost overlap a little bit if you're thinking about this idea of Planescape being that just philosophy driven. It's not necessarily tied to a certain setting or period or anything like that, right? Perfect. Thank you, Kieran.
Well,
so guys, in chat, if you do want to vote on which one of those took your fancy, please do. Go for it, Snook.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that technically it is a set setting. The point of Planescape is it's mostly centered around the city of Sigil, and that's literally considered the center of the multiverse. So if you like this idea, highly recommend you go check it out.
I love that.
All right.
No, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, yeah, do we want to go to one of the first talking points? I know I said to you, Snook, I won't be as knowledgeable on this, but perhaps you could talk a little bit about this idea of the history and impact of D&D. Anything kind of historically, because I think that's something that you probably are a little bit more experienced with.
Yeah, certainly. And, I'm not going to be lying when I say that I actually think you have a lot that you can add to this, because not only is it necessarily the history, but also the impact. I consider you being part of that impact. And just you being one of the newer players. Now, I want to go over our D&D origin stories in the next segment, but to bring everybody together and give you a quick history lesson, Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson were basically just two middle-aged white dudes in the Midwest that really loved wargaming. And wargaming, I personally love too. If you play Command & Conquer, Age of Empires, anything like that, Stellaris, technically you like wargaming. And again, these tabletop games have influenced so much as far as media, franchises, video games, stories, television, all of that. And just to make sure you totally understand, this game was started roughly around 1971-ish, when Gary Gygax took this idea of, instead of focusing on the whole army, what if you took the role of just one soldier, and you decided everything that this soldier does and thinks? They could be a man-at-arms leading all of his troops, or a court wizard who's defending the realm, on authority of the king, right? So he took that idea and started fleshing it out. And back in the day, they did like fanzines instead of bulletin boards or, forums as we know them now. And he ended up meeting up with this guy, Dave Arneson. And Arneson also had this setting in mind that had its own kind of rules, and they started collaborating, and that's how we ended up getting D&D as we know it. It started off as just a 3-booklet game that he printed off at one of the stores nearby and mailed them personally across the country. Then eventually he got a little money and some startup. There's more history. I'm not going to go into too much of it. Eventually they established TSR, Tactical Rules Studies. And this is when D&D took off. They ended up bringing in people from all over the entertainment industry that, some of the best painters and artists of the time. And even still today, there's also some of the best writers of all time. A lot of people, they try to say that there wasn't a lot of women involved in the industry, that they were shunned. And that's actually incorrect, because one of the biggest settings in D&D is Dragonlance, and that was co-written by a woman. And nobody ever cared. Dragonlance is probably more famous than the Forgotten Realms until the last decade. So, just putting that out there. So, now, that's not to say that there aren't little, examples and exceptions here and there. However, what it came into was this big cultural phenomenon of gaming, exercising your imagination. Maybe you always wanted to be, that fantasy knight fighting dragons, or maybe you wanted to be that lord leading a country. But in real life, you just couldn't do it. This gave everybody an outlet to do so. And basically, it led into video gaming. People tried to emulate it on PCs with what they call multi-user dungeons, or MUDs. And if it wasn't for those, gaming would not exist as it is today. Video gaming, I mean. Because all of the nerds that worked on this and they loved D&D and they tried to replicate D&D on a PC eventually brought about all of the other games. Every game that you know out on the market right now is in some way, shape, or form owed to Dungeons and Dragons.
Amazing.
I could go into more details, but I've yapped enough about all that. So,
do you know what I really love is like when you mentioned about the this idea of like the almost like the bigger picture strategy games, like you say, like the war games, right? And how that transitions from that, where you've got this bigger picture strategy, thinking about a whole army or whatever you want to call it, and then thinking about that concept of we can zoom into one person as part of that situation, and we're going to really think about their interiority, and we're going to get into the role playing of that one person. I think that's really interesting. I didn't make that connection in my head of that's maybe one of the transitions. I think that's really interesting.
yeah.
That's how it came about. That's awesome. And Michael Nothing, I see you there with tabletop games. Let us know in chat if you've got any favourites. I love to hear people's favourite tabletop games.
Like, I'll never lie about it. I loved Warhammer 40,000. That's like been one of my favorite table games. I also have the Fallout tabletop game. I've got other table games, and then a bunch of RPGs too. Like my shelf back here, you guys can't see it lit very well, but I've got a bunch of games, RPGs, Amazing. And everything. So
amazing. No, I think that's so cool. Thank you for giving us a little bit of a history, because I think I kind of knew very briefly, like a little bit about who'd made it, how it kind of come about a little bit, but like you say, I think that's just interesting about that concept of how it transitions from the bigger picture to really exploring. And I think, again, that's just one of my favorite things about D&D is really getting into backstory and considering the depth of your character and how far you can take that. And sometimes I've heard other people who play D&D mention this, the idea that we can use our characters to almost explore some things that might be going on for us in the real world as well. It can either
Precisely.
be escapism, or it can sometimes be that element of, I'm going to bring things in my life that maybe even not on a conscious level, but things that might be relevant to us. Like, I've got a character that I've played for years, and one of their biggest things is like a sense of discovering their identity and trying to find their purpose. And when you look back on it, I'm like, that's so relevant. That's so relevant to things I experience. So it's just a fascinating kind of outlet for that, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. That's ironically, I did mention that, not to jump too far ahead, but in the foreword of my book, I actually said, like, hey, that quote from Thanos during the Infinity Wars, reality is often disappointing, but I can make it whatever, or reality can be whatever I want. Like, that has been my life experience with life in general, and also playing Dungeons and Dragons. That was literally, it's like, my reality sucked growing up as a kid. I'm not even gonna front. Like, most people had it bad. Bro, it's not a pissing contest, but let's just say it was rough, real rough. So, I spent all my time in my head, alone in my room, reading books, right? D&D was my escape from reality. I didn't have to worry about physical trauma. I didn't have to worry about schoolwork. I didn't have to worry about trying to appear normal, because I had this whole world in my head that belonged to just me.
Yeah. It's a sense of like, and it's not a negative control. I think sometimes when you think of the word control, it feels negative, right? But I think just in that sense of maybe agency is a better word than control. It's like it gives you a space where you feel like you have agency in your life, because especially when you're younger, like you bring it up, right, Snoop? Like when you're younger, you often feel like the world is happening to you, and it can still feel like that as an adult, right? But particularly when you're young, it's like I haven't got agency in my life. Things feel a bit out of my control. I'm kind of just along for this passive ride. It's difficult. But you can make these worlds, and like you say, the space in your head, you have real control over that. And that's really powerful. So I love that you raised that as something that was almost a bit of a way in for you. That's brilliant.
That's basically, I think a lot of kids found D&D the same way I did, pre 2000s. But actually, I think that's a good segue into the next segment. So, really quick,
Yeah.
do we want to know what the answers was to that poll?
Yes, it was Eberron. That was
Eberron.
the
Oh,
answer. Yes.
okay.
That was the winning. That was the winning.
Well, I didn't bring anything to write on.
Do you want me to take a note, or we can
Well,
pop it somewhere?
yeah, if we can just make a note of these as we go through them.
I've got it. I've got it. I'll put number one. We got Eberron. Perfect.
Eberron, all right.
Nice.
So then the next thing is going to be, what is the plot hook? So where do we start the adventure and get our quest?
Okay.
The hook is the place, really. So we have a tavern in a seedy port town, a masked ball at a noble's estate, an abandoned temple, or a lightning car, rail like the trains in Eberron, or perhaps a courthouse or council hall. So that one would be like maybe you're hired by the council or you're blackmailed through jail.
Interesting. Okay. I think I really like the intrigue and like immediate sense of mystery and disguise of the masked ball. I can't lie. I'm just immediately seduced by that idea of the
Okay.
masked ball. I think that's super interesting. Just kind of hidden identities, disguise. I think that brings in a lot of cool intrigue straight away.
All right.
And I suppose it links, like you said, a little bit to the Eberron kind of thing. I think I really like the idea of. Did you say it's the lightning train?
Yeah, that's what they
That's really
call
cool.
it, but it's essentially
Yeah.
like what we have today is like a bullet train. That's literally what they have.
Okay. I like that because I actually had a campaign that I played that started on a train, and I think at the time I was unsure about how that was going to work. And I think for me, just personally, that experience was really interesting and quite fast paced and really engaging. That I thought that makes for a really good first kind of starting point. So I'm gonna go with those two.
All right.
Sounds kind of fun. I like it. I like it. Kieran, if you're with us, if we could put those two together, I'll put those in.
Yeah.
And then we got the lightning train.
Yep.
Yeah, Kieran all grey, however that works.
Yeah, appreciate you
can
guys.
set that up for us. Yeah, thank you. We always appreciate the mods here. I appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And if you have any problems, let me know, guys, and I'll set it up. But thank you.
And
Amazing.
then to our next segment, this is something I really wanted to ask you about, so I really want you to go first. I want to know,
Okay.
what was your actual original D&D origin story? How did you get introduced to play your very first time?
So, I remember kind of hearing about D&D actually when I was at university, but I didn't really engage with it at that point. So I think I'm actually a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to D&D. I think a lot of people, like you say, Snoot, you kind of a little bit earlier, but for me, I didn't find it till, I guess, early 20s. My partner at the time was, I think he'd already DM'd actually, and he had suggested, I think it was pre-COVID actually, a little bit pre-COVID, had suggested that we use D&D as a tool to get to know each other's friends better. And it was really interesting because he had this experience, I did not. And for me, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy it. I think I'd maybe had some like cliches in my head about what D&D was and what it wasn't. And through that experience, my friends and I, we've been playing the same campaign from that first experience for over 6 years.
Wow.
So that kind of says it all. We ran with it. But it was fascinating because it was a tool of bringing people together. I think that sense of community, like making connections between people, was kind of that first experience. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you. Was that first experience. So it's bringing people together, getting to know people. And to be honest, very quickly, we were in COVID. So it became very quickly an online thing that, again, was about connections. It was about bringing people together that couldn't necessarily be in the same room. It was making sure that people had that, we've mentioned this term, escapism, having that space to kind of forget the rest of the world and just go with it and just to explore something together. And I think we were all surprised by how much we adored it. So yeah, my first experience was as a player. It was probably quite a traditional campaign. We started with Curse of Strahd. We
Oh,
started, yeah, it was a really good. It was quite shocking. I think the first section of that had quite a few of us quite traumatized by the small children that you meet. That's all I'll say at the very
yeah,
start. That
yeah.
kind of that gothic horror. We loved the style, but it was quite, yeah, it was quite heavy early on. But it was
It's
such a great experience. It was a brilliant book to start with.
it really is. I'm not gonna lie. Ravenloft was one of my favorites as a kid, just because of how messed up it really is. But I'm into that stuff, so
I love that. I love that. Why the hell not? It was a great starting point. We very quickly went off book and actually made friends with Strad, which is probably the wrong thing to do, but there you go. So we kind of
that's
went in a totally different direction.
but that's peak D&D. That's
Yes,
oh man, that's great.
exactly. Exactly. So we went in a totally different direction, and we've only just really concluded that campaign fairly recently, given it a pause. So we've been doing it for
Wow.
years, and it was just like I say to emphasize, D&D was very much for building connections, bringing people together, and it was fantastic for that. And we found our love of D&D through it, and we haven't looked back since.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah, yeah,
I mean, that
exactly.
makes
How about
sense though. Like
yeah,
the whole 2020 thing. Just as a side note, during all the
yeah.
COVID stuff, that's the very first time that I really got to roll out my own true homebrew campaign setting. And the people that encouraged me to just go ahead and run it, even though I wasn't done, those guys said that it was probably one of the best campaigns they've ever played in their lives. And I honestly,
Amazing.
I don't blame them for saying that, but I do believe I have to say it's because of COVID, because there was nowhere else to go. There was nothing else to do. I spent like 12 hours a day on D&D. If we weren't
Yeah.
playing, I was prepping. Like, it was
hmm
ridiculous.
I can believe it. I mean, yeah, like we just lock into things, right? During that time. So it was a good time for you to explore it. I love that.
Yeah.
I also love, I just have to draw attention to some of the comments in chat. Michael, nothing. It's like improv, but you can sit. Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
it works well for that. I love that. And yeah,
Yeah.
Mama T, I love how D&D brings people together. That is amazing. I mean, obviously I started as a player and just a little bit now about it got to a point where I thought, you know what, I do kind of want to try this DMing thing. I want to give it a go. And yeah, it just got to a point where I thought, you know what, I'm going to use a world that is very familiar to me. So I kind of used the Fallout universe. That was one of my things. And we're still going with that campaign now and just having fun with, I suppose for me, a pre-existing world, but tweaking and really bringing character backstories. That's what I'm super passionate about. I love that stuff. I think that's the most rewarding when someone gives you a really well thought out character and you're giving them those amazing opportunities to explore and develop them. Like some of my
Yeah.
players have had amazing moral questions, and it feels like you're seeing like personal development, even though you know it's a character, but it feels really
Yes.
powerful.
Yes, that exactly. I do enjoy that myself. But that's actually that can go into one of our later topics as well, if you want to go back into that, which is my topic number 4: what makes a session great. But
Yeah, definitely.
just to catch up, as far as myself, when it comes to D&D,
Mm.
most people I know already know this because I won't shut up if somebody asks me about D&D, right?
I love that.
So, basically, to give all of you the TLDR, I was about 9 years old, and I was walking home from the bus, and I had a copy of The Hobbit in my arm, right? And I'm walking down the street, and one of my neighbors from like just a couple doors down across the street, he pokes his head out of his door, and I've never talked to this guy before. He goes, "Hey, you like dragons and dwarves and stuff?" I was like, yeah. He goes, "What if you wanted to do your own Hobbit game with your own dragons and your own dwarves and your own, elves?" And I was like, "Okay, you had me at dragons and dwarves, okay?" So,
That is amazing.
yeah, the guy ended up inviting my brother and myself over after that.
Right?
Because I was like, dude, we got to go see this guy. He's talking about dragons and dwarves and the Hobbit, and it's like your own thing. And I was so stoked. So stoked. My brother was like, ugh, all right, fine, let's go. So we go and hang out with the guy, and it turns out my brother goes, wow, all of these video games I've been enjoying are basically from this. And it was AD&D at the time, because 3rd edition didn't come out yet. And so we're sitting there talking to this guy, and he tells us all about the cool things you can do, the different kinds of games there are. So I learned about all kinds of different RPGs at the same time. It just so happened D&D, for me, was the most exciting back then. But we played Star Wars tabletop games. We played what is called Rifts. That one's a wild one. You got to look up if you're interested. It's basically magic, tech, multiple universes, different portals. Dragons rule the world, essentially, and there's a bunch of aliens. It's kooky, trust me.
Amazing. Sounds like a great mix.
Yeah. So eventually I ended up making a rogue, a halfling rogue. And this, now, keep in mind, this is one of my favorite characters I still play. And my brother helped me come up with the name, but...
Okay.
Yes, it was intentional. Keep in mind I was 9, okay? His name is Longfellow Balzac Dickens.
Oh my god. Wow. I wonder if chat can make the connection. Oh my gosh. You gotta love a ridiculous name in D&D. It's gotta be done. I think everyone's got to do one of those.
Everyone has to do one.
Tick the box.
Yeah. So, honestly, that was what did it for me. And once I kept coming back, like... The guy ended up giving me a bunch of AD&D books, and I just started tearing through them. I would sit in my room and in school just reading page after page. I just read this section, let me go back. He gave me a little splat book. In case you're not familiar with the term, it's basically like magazine-sized rules expansions that you used to call them splat books. So it's kind of like DLC, but... He gave me one that was the Thieves' Handbook, and then another one that was the Halfling's Handbook, and it had these extra rules expansions that weren't in the core rulebook. And when I tell you I read these things religiously, like I'm not even joking. So I was that hardcore into it just at 9 years old, to the point where this man, he ended up giving me his old copy of the Player's Handbook. And then he also gave me his additional copies of the 3rd edition core books when he moved. And that was shortly after 3rd edition came out. So I got to play about a year of AD&D before 3rd edition came out and completely changed the game. That was the first time Wizards had control of it. It was actually really good, too.
That's interesting. I love that you got the different editions, because I've only ever been 5e. I've just been 5e, that's all I know.
So, you know, I would like a moment to discuss that, actually. All the different editions do have a different feel. So if you're ever interested, I highly encourage everyone to check it out, because regardless of what people say, there's going to be things you enjoy. Like, AD&D is basically simulation. That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to feel like a full-on medieval fantasy simulation. Low magic power on the part of the players, because you're more dependent on the items you find. It's kind of like Tolkien. It's not what you can do, it's what the gear can do for you. So there's that. 3rd edition was just a skills game, and honestly, 5e borrows the most from 3rd edition, and I love it.
Interesting.
4th edition... Sorry. 4th edition is basically... D&D that was trying to be Diablo. Basically, what we have kind of happening now with virtual tabletops and stuff like that, that was their intention with 4th edition. That's why people didn't understand it and they didn't like it, is because it was made to be D&D's answer to Diablo and other games like that. You were supposed to have the virtual tabletop before virtual tabletops were a thing. That's where Roll20 and not Foundry, it was the other one, the older one, Fantasy Grounds. That's where the two of those virtual tabletops actually came from, is because Wizards was trying to find a way to make that for 4th edition. And ultimately, they were too far ahead of their time, things fell through, and we are where we are. So, and then 5th edition, you already know about 5th edition, so I don't need to go on about that.
No, that's fair. I just want to address as well a few things in chat. Obviously, Labito, thank you for hanging out. Have a good rest of your evening. Kieran, thanks for the lurk. Insia, that's quite cool. Insia says my first change was 5e to 2024, but I did check 3.5e. I love that. That's cool. That's cool. So we did a little bit of a check back. That's awesome. Insia, I know, is a huge fan of D&D, and what is it, TTRPGs as well? Just a huge fan of that kind of thing. Mama T, yeah, is a player. I was so nervous to play it, but I love it, even though I still don't really know what I'm doing. Mama T, I mean, it's been awesome. I definitely, that's part of my origin. I bullied my mum into playing D&D with me. That's part of I was the introduction for my mum seeing D&D.
It's always fun when you get your mom hooked on something, because I did the same thing with my mom when it came to World of Warcraft.
I love it. Wait, did you say World of Warcraft?
Yep.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, she played for a while with me and my brother, and then her health got worse. That's another story, though.
I love that. And we've got, I don't know if I'm going to say this wrong, is it Arnzil or Arnzil?
Arnzil.
Arnzil, awesome, thank you.
That's one of the guys I know personally.
Guilds. Oh, amazing. I'm going to start playing some D&D in between expansions. That's cool. Amazing. Yeah. Will it be your first experience of D&D, or will you have played it before? Let us know. Let us know.
I think, if I remember correctly, Arnzul never got a chance to actually play D&D with me. I did run a couple of different games for his brother, but he does have Baldur's Gate 3, and I've been trying to encourage him to continue playing it.
Yeah, so. No worries, Arnzul. You're all good.
All right, so now that we're good with our origin stories, what was the winner in that poll? Are we going to be starting?
It was 50-50, Stook. It was 50-50. Really? How do you want to play a 50-50? It was split down the middle.
You know what?
What do you reckon?
I'll do a coin flip. So we had a masked ball or the lightning rail. So masked ball is first in mine. That's going to be heads. Okay, do it. It is heads. So we're going to be starting at a masked ball. Amazing. I will put that down as part 2. I love it. I love it. Cool. Amazing stuff. All right. And now for the final. Yeah. That would be cool if it was a masked ball on a train. Yeah, fuse the two together. Let's really mash it up. I mean, that's also acceptable, but I'll leave that up to Cassidy. I think we'll go with a masked ball. Let's keep it simple. Okay. Let's keep it simple. So thus far, we have an adventure that is going to be happening in the world of Eberron, and it's going to start at a masked ball with our party there getting some kind of quest. What the quest is, now we have to figure out, what is the point? What's the MacGuffin? So I love that. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Good storytelling, classic storytelling, you got to have your MacGuffin and 2 red herrings. That's the rule of 3. Keep that in mind going forward. So, we've got the options of a lost artifact, maybe something that belonged to an ancient god or king, or queen or goddess. Number 2, are you looking for a person, maybe somebody that was kidnapped or is missing who must be found? Number 3 would be forbidden knowledge, perhaps a spell book or a prophecy or some kind of secret that has to be retrieved. Number 4 would be a dangerous relic, something that must be destroyed before it falls into the wrong hands. And then number 5 would be a key, opens something even worse than what's in the dungeon. What would you like your top 2 MacGuffins to be? Interesting. I'll be honest, I'm immediately drawn to forbidden knowledge because I think it's a really interesting thing to go with. I love the almost like the moral questions that forbidden knowledge can bring up, because you've got that question of, okay, so if the players get to that point of we've acquired this forbidden knowledge, do we acquire it? Do we learn it? Do we look into this, or do we keep it hidden from society because perhaps it's not a good thing for society to know, right? And I love that moral question, so I think it's got to be forbidden knowledge for one of them. I love that. Welcome back, Cosmic. Yeah, welcome back. Okay, so I do like the forbidden knowledge one too. I think that one was very, very interesting. Definitely.
It's difficult to pick the last one, but I kind of like how you described the key when you say it opens something so much worse than what's inside the dungeon. So I kind of love that. I think I might have to go for the key.
Okay, so our
That
two
could be
options
anything.
from chat are going to be forbidden knowledge or a key.
Amazing. Let me pop that in chat.
Oh, I was going to do the same thing. You go ahead. You're ahead of me.
Oh, perfect. Alright, I'll do it. Gray, I don't know if
Yeah.
you're there, if you know the poll thing. If not, I will set it up. Let me know, because I think Kieran's gone to like actually sleep like a normal human being. So let me know, Gray. Oh, there you go. Some people are already sharing ideas in chat. Whilst we
Oh,
set that
yeah,
up,
no.
I just want to read a couple
go
of
ahead.
things. So, Insta, I know you said a few things. Let me catch up on your comments. So, Insta, you said earlier on, I'm way more into narrative role-playing games, more in the style of choose your adventure books, but D&D makes playing tabletop RPGs more easy in certain scenarios. That makes sense. That makes sense.
And that's essentially the way I've explained it to people, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but it's basically a choose your own adventure, but collaboratively.
Yeah, I like the idea of collaboration. That's important, right? To bring people together and build a world together and see the impact that everyone can have.
Right.
Yeah, great. Let me know if you need any support, but if not, I'll sort it. What else have we got? I'm playing Lasers and Feelings these days. This is reminding me a lot of the way the system helps you make short adventures. I don't know that. Do you know that, Snook?
Yeah, I've heard of Lasers and
Feelings?
Feelings. There's a lot
Ooh.
of tabletop games that have come out in the last like decade, I want to say, when tabletop RPGs had this great renaissance, as they call it. So yes, there's a lot of new ones that are short and fun, like Gumshoe. You could have long, interesting ones, for example, like D&D, but there's also more complicated ones than D&D. There's also ones shorter and simpler than D&D. So yeah, Lasers and Feelings is one of those.
Interesting. Yeah, I've not heard. I've actually not tried any other systems. Thank you, Kroll. Thanks for helping out with that message. Reiterating.
Yep. Thank you, Krill.
I've not tried any other systems. Do you know what? I don't know what your opinion on this is, but I've always been told I need to do Vampire Masquerade. That's something I've been
Yes.
told I need to do.
Yes.
I've
Yes,
heard amazing
please.
things. I've played the games like on the console on the PC, but I've never done the role playing, and I hear that I must.
It's really fun. I honestly, and this might come out wrong, but please understand where I'm coming from. Usually around the more feminine, people, that's typically the one that they gravitate to the most, because it's more about the role play and the drama and the tension more than it's about the action and the adventure, like say D&D. So you have those two that are really almost diametrically opposed, but they're not. And yeah, so I feel like you would be the kind of person that would love Vampire the Masquerade.
No, I mean, Michael Nothing has just put that emote in chat because he definitely is reminding me that he loves that and I should do it. Because there's so
Definitely.
many fans, people that recommend, yes.
yes.
And yeah, Cosmic, we are definitely playing, we're talking some D&D. Welcome back. I definitely need to do
Yeah.
it at some point. Krill, if I could fall in love, wait, if I could fall in D&D, I would be, what do you mean fall? What do you mean fall, Krill? If I could fall in D&D, I would be pro in that. Maybe I'm just missing something. Thank you for the follow, Anzo. I really appreciate that. Welcome in, buddy. It's good to meet you.
Also, I had somebody follow me earlier and I missed it, but I can get to that later. Yeah.
Amazing. I think, yeah.
Like Michael
Perfect,
said,
great, thank you.
Masquerade was like huge in the 90s because that's when it actually originated, when it was created and published. And I think it was published in 89, if I'm not mistaken, but it's still really amazing. I try to tell everybody, check it out, because you don't have to like gothic horror, you don't have to like, all this stuff, but like if you enjoyed, say, what's the name of that show? It's with the two brothers, Supernatural. There we go. If you like Supernatural, that's literally the World of Darkness setting that Vampire comes from.
Okay.
Like they would be what we consider in that setting hunters. So they're basically special touched people that can interact with the everything else, and it's all there too. Fairies, werewolves, mages, vampires, all of it. So yeah, check it out.
Oh, that noted. Cosmic says hello, Snook.
Oh, what up,
Just
Cosmic?
letting you
Sorry.
know.
Yeah.
Cosmic saying hello. Just so
I
you see it.
I know I'm wordy and I can carry on for a bit, so I'm trying
No,
not to
not
like
at all.
focus too much on chat because I will keep going. That's why I could never finish BG3 on stream.
I mean, you've seen the speed at which I play BG3, Snook. Neither do I. Neither
Yeah.
do
But
we're on speedy here.
since we're talking about Baldur's Gate 3 now,
Yeah.
I do want to get your opinion on something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've been playing D&D and you've played Baldur's Gate 3, what do you see as like a compare and contrast between your experiences with Baldur's Gate 3 as well as the tabletop, and like maybe how one has influenced the other in any kind of way?
It's a fascinating question, isn't it? Because yeah, I think like obviously yeah. So I found D&D before BG3, so I kind of had this like baseline knowledge of some things that was going to help me understand BG3. Yeah, it's a good question, is it, Cosmic? Guys, let us know in chat if you have any thoughts on that relationship between D&D and BG3 and kind of how you find the comparison. Let us know. And there is a poll in chat if you want to use it to let us influence the adventure that
Yeah.
Snook is setting out for us. It's really interesting. I think for me, like I often talk to people about BG3. Let's start there for a moment. About BG3 because one, BG3 started my channel. That's what I started on with streaming,
Fair.
because it's so familiar, it's so comfortable. I love it as a game. But one of the things I often recognise about BG3 is that it does not hold your hand. It does not hold your hand in terms of
Right.
understanding how to play all these things that you maybe need to be thinking about. And I think that if I hadn't had an understanding of D&D, I would have found BG3 really inaccessible. And I think a lot of people have voiced that, right? So there's almost like
Yeah.
a chicken and egg thing of like
Yeah.
D&D has really supported my understanding of that game. So there's obviously a lot of similarities that people find between those two, right? It certainly helps a lot of things. I think it's interesting. When I started playing BG3, I started considering, for example, playing classes in D&D that I never would have just from D&D. It was kind of odd
Right.
that I suddenly thought, hang on, I feel like I'm getting a different perspective on some of these routes that I could take through BG3. And I don't know if it just felt like a good practice of giving something a go without, I suppose, if you're looking at D&D campaigns, sometimes you're thinking, okay, this might be a few long sessions, I'm committing to something. BG3 kind of gives us a little bit of a practice play around space, right? Which is quite interesting. But I think like one of the big differences I would just say is obviously some of the mechanics are kind of tweaked and shaped for the gaming context. And I think one of the things that I would dare say is a negative about BG3 compared to D&D is it's not ever going to be as responsive and interactive and engaging as D&D can be, because the
Right.
game can't respond to your personal choices, your personal input.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to give you a set rule. And I think it's interesting with D&D. I've never been books worth or a rules person for the sake of rules, right? I'm a yes and. If we can make it work and it's interesting and my characters have, my players have put something creative together, I want to see how we can make it work. Whereas BG3 has to be a bit more static, right? Because this is a format. We have to have it a little bit more controlled. D&D is so much more open, so much more space for creativity, I think. I've kind of
Absolutely.
just talked a lot there, Sook.
No, you're
That's some of
right
my
though.
initial thoughts.
And I wanted to get your opinion. That's why I asked. Because for myself, like, and I'm just gonna piggyback on what you were saying at the end. There is BG3 cannot truly encapsulate everything that D&D is because it is a video game, and I think people tend to forget that because there was a very similar issue back when with the original Baldur's Gate, by the way, which they just did AD&D with those, right, for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, and a lot of people had similar issues with that as they do now with Baldur's Gate 3. It's just now the general public actually understands what they were crying about. So there's that. And then on top of that, I did want to segue just slightly because I am such an RPG guy and I'm such a tabletop guy. Like, my true love for D&D came from third edition, and that translated in video games because the game that I used to get other people into it before Baldur's Gate 3 was Knights of the Old Republic. I love that game so much.
This. Yeah, I've heard of this.
It is my favorite video game of all time. I play it like once a year, every fucking year. Pardon my F-bomb, but I love it that much.
You're all good.
So you have to understand, this is also back when BioWare, like I saw you had Dragon Age Origins on your Xbox.
Yeah.
That only exists because BioWare decided not to do Baldur's Gate 3, or I think it was Wizards wouldn't let them do Baldur's Gate 3. So they took half of what they had already built for Baldur's Gate 3 and made Dragon Age. Dragon Age wouldn't exist if it wasn't for D&D.
Oh, well, I mean, you can see the links there too, right? 100%.
Yeah, and it's not just as surface level as dwarves and elves. Like, legitimately, they only made Dragon Age Origins because they could not make Baldur's Gate 3. And that's just incredible to think about. So, and if we didn't get, or sorry, if they had done Baldur's Gate 3, we wouldn't have the Baldur's Gate 3 that we have today.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. So, going more into focus about the topic, sorry, I veered off.
No, tangent where you like.
Basically, for me, I've tried to adopt a little bit of the philosophy from Baldur's Gate 3, where I've loosened up a little bit when it comes to the rules. You know, there's things I was very strict about, and not for the sake of rules, but because I really believe in that adherence to making the world believable. Yes, we're doing fantastical things, but it still has to be grounded in some type of reality, even if that reality is not our own. So, for me, that's kind of why I enjoyed, AD&D, why I enjoyed 3rd edition, because these were crunchy systems where if I was trying to grapple somebody, we'd have to read like half of a fucking page of rules to know how to resolve it. Whereas in 5th edition, it's, okay, what's your highest, athletics or acrobatics? Okay, roll a pose. There you go. We've satisfied it, right? So for me, that's where all the juice is. Like, I enjoy all of that. But Baldur's Gate 3 has basically opened my eyes and said, no, it's okay. The whole point of D&D 5e, and I've known this since I started, is that it's intentionally loose with the rules to allow you to bend them the way you need them. And that's okay. So that's the lesson that I got from Baldur's Gate 3 was it's okay to tailor your game to your audience and not just give the same experience no matter who it is. And even if you do that, encourage everybody's way of thinking. It's only going to make it even better.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think that's a really nice point that, you want, there to be a degree of adaptability. I think, like I said already, that's the most important thing for me is that my players feel agency in, the way that they play, the path that they take. My campaigns are always very flexible in that sense of, I might have certain things planned out, but actually they might be months down the line. I might have sat for 8 hours and planned something, but it will come down a lot later in the campaign, depending on where people choose to explore, right? And I think, just to say, there's a lot of interesting things being said in chat, just to draw attention. See if
I actually wanted to comment on what Chaos had just said.
Yeah, go for it.
So, and this has actually been a thing since the beginning. What Cosmic said was there's an idea in the very beginning of the DMG, or Dungeon Master's Guide, that says it's just a loose guide, not strict rules. And the beautiful thing is that is the philosophy that was Gary Gygax, his original D&D, was people would call him for rules clarifications, like we have Sage Advice now, but they would call him on the phone and be like, hey, how am I supposed to resolve this? He would never tell people how to resolve it. He would say, well, what did you do?
Yeah.
Because he saw that as it's loose guides, not strict rules. So I love the fact that people also understand that now, because when I was a teenager, people did not get that. They're like, no, you have to do it this way. Blah, blah, blah. No, bro, it's okay. It's imagination. We're just having fun. It's okay. Like,
And it's interesting, isn't it? Like there will always be different styles of playing as well. Like I've certainly been a player in campaigns where perhaps the DM is a little bit more rigid with the rules and will be a little bit more, I don't want to say the word limiting, but will be a little bit more rooted in that and say actually this thing that you're doing, that's not possible because, and like you say, it needs to be
Right.
grounded in some kind of feasible reality in relation to the world you're building. Not necessarily feasible to our reality, but it needs to be relative, right? But I think everyone's got different styles. So actually, I'm very aware that some people will like that person's style a lot. Some people will enjoy that very, this is how it is, I want a very structured way of playing. Some people like a little bit more fluidity with the creativity, I think. But it is all about perhaps having your DM style, but finding the right group. You might find that you work with people, you have players that maybe don't mesh with your style, but there'll be other people that do, or vice versa.
Yes.
Players need to explore lots of different DMs, perhaps if they don't find something that works for them
Yes.
straight away, and not write it off. Maybe that's really important, right?
That's something I always try to tell new players is even if you didn't enjoy your first time, find a new group to play with because sometimes it's just the table chemistry. And that's okay. Because that's another thing I talk about in my book for sure is the golden rule is not every table is for everybody and not everybody is for every table, and that's okay. Because there's a table out there for you no matter who you are. Going through the chat, though, I liked some of these responses. So Michael Nothing was in response to the vampire. My little goth heart was obsessed. I feel that, bro. I feel that so much.
Amazing. I think that's why I would love it. Hell yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and Mama T even said that D&D has helped with understanding Baldur's Gate 3. And small little tangent on that, I also believe that players have to want to learn how to play. That's the biggest hurdle I've always seen is I can explain it to you all I want to, but until you take the initiative, till you have the want to learn, you're not going to get it, you're never going to step into it, and you are missing out on so much. So all you need is that little grain of, let me try to understand this. That's all it takes.
Initiative. Cosmic, I love that.
Yeah, literally take the initiative, yes.
Yeah. Exactly. We love a D&D pun. Oh my gosh. I love that.
Arnzul said he's downloading BG3 again now.
I love that. Oh, Cosmic, you've been playing D&D for over 10 years. And DM 5th edition, so it made learning Baldur's Gate so much easier. It was amazing how they translated 5e. Yeah, I think there's so many good things for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Insia, that's cool. D&D is so unique because it has so much freedom on both the players and DM's part. I agree with you on how much creativity adds to D&D, 100%. I think that's so important. I have seen game with the intent of being responsive, be more responsive than D&D, but it usually has the focus of the game because it requires the devs to focus a lot on that. Absolutely. The developers have a certain context they have to work within, right? And certain systems they have to work within. So there's a little bit of a translation.
Yep.
Cosmic, I like how you worded that. The thing I like most about the BG3 is it helps people understand what D&D actually is. It's like a nice kind of stepping point.
And that's cool. Something I love about Baldur's Gate 3. Like, since I first downloaded the alpha back in, October 2020? I think I got it, like, within the first week or so. Anyways, it really shows people what D&D is supposed to feel like. Because when they do those 20 rolls, your skill checks right on the screen, you see the cinematic of all the dialogue, the tension, and that release, the drama. Like, that's what it's supposed to be about.
100%. I love that. And that's what gets you excited about it, right? Timmy, we're having a chat. Stop farting on stream. This is where you have to edit things out, Snook. This is where it happens.
Oh no, I'm using all of it.
Timmy. Oh, I love it. Ainsley says, I do like rules for the reasons stated where they do ground you in the universe, and sometimes it's worth to cut the flow so that the consequences have a little bit more punch, but sometimes you just want the action. Yeah, so there is a little bit of fluidity, but rules are important 100%. Too many horror stories of campaigns being basically held hostage by overbearing DMs. It's that pairing system, isn't it? Like you said, Snook, it's finding... what was that quote again? I love how you said it, Snook, about the table. Please say that again. That was awesome.
Not every table is for everybody, and not everybody is for every table.
Amazing. Yeah.
And now understand, when I say this, I am technically ripping this off from Matthew Colville. He really gave me the confidence to come out and start talking about D&D and DMing the way that I have been for the past like 5 years. But he said that, and honestly, I get that from the experience I've had playing in Adventurers League, which is the organized play of D&D, which is amazing. If you can't schedule a game with your homies, go to your local store and play a game of Adventurers League. It's worth it. So Adventurers League is basically kind of like everybody's version of Baldur's Gate 3 in current D&D. So there's that. But trailing on from that is like, yeah, it's you may run a game for people that you know aren't really enjoying your style, but that's an important part of DMing too, is being able to modify and play to your table. At least that's what I do. And some people, they can't, and that's okay. Some people, they don't want to. That's okay. You get to play how you want to play.
Yeah. 100%. And yeah, it's that little bit of adaptability, right? It's so important, isn't it? And kind of, especially depending on what capacity you do. And I mean, do you ever find that, Snook? Like, I don't know much about the world of being a professional DM, right? But do you find that, as part of that, is there almost a pressure to really adapt your style? Or do you find that people work well with your pre-existing style? How do you find that relationship, if you don't mind talking about that a little bit? Because I think that's really interesting.
So the best thing that I could say about that in a way that's easily digestible would be, that's what part of the onboarding process is. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. When people want to join my games, when I have them hosted, by the way, on startplaying.games, it's a great place to go if you ever just want to catch a quick game. They are paid. Some are free. Most are paid. But when they book on one of my sessions, I like to have that communication. Like, I need at least 4 hours or so in advance to be able to see if you're going to be a good fit for my table and if I'm going to be a good fit for you as a DM. And that's just what it takes. Sometimes if it's a one shot, I will tailor it exactly to the group, and that has worked out amazing. But then if it's people I know and I've played with them before, I know their style and they know my style, it's a lot easier for me to kind of do my thing while also catering to them. And that's why I think for COVID, those guys said that my homebrew campaign was the best campaign they'd ever played. We played that for like 3 years, by the way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the hallmark of an amazing campaign, right? It has that longevity and keeps people engaged and keeps people wanting to come back for more. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right. So, what was the winner for that poll?
Forbidden Knowledge, Snoop, which is my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not excited about that one.
I like that. Yeah, I think that was the one. That was definitely the one. So
yes,
we're in Eberron. We're at a noble's masquerade, essentially, a nice fancy ball. And our mission has now become that we need to find some kind of forbidden knowledge. I like that.
Yep. Amazing. That's going to be an interesting mix. I'm so fascinated by it already, Snook.
I like this. So if we want to set up the next one and then go on to our next topic. So step 4 is going to be the biome. So what is the area around the dungeon? It doesn't matter where we start because that environment is not as important as getting to the dungeon. So once we're near the dungeon, what is the landscape? What do we have to go through with the natural world to have access to this place? So are we going from this nice fancy ball to a frozen wasteland with lots of blizzards and survival elements required to navigate safely to the dungeon? Perhaps maybe it's a jungle ruin with lots of traps, poisons, maybe ancient guardians, statues, or just beings that have been living in the swamp for a long time, or the jungle, sorry. Could it be an underwater cavern so that there's pockets of air, flooded layers, but also strange marine creatures? Number 4 would be volcanic chasm. So this would have lava rivers, lots of fire-related monsters, and maybe collapsing terrain. Then the last one would be desert badlands. So somewhere where we're going to have to deal with a lot of sandstorms, maybe nomads, and bone-strewed canyons. Yeah, you got to have the evocative language in there to really set the tone.
I love it. Yeah. Do you know what? Funny you say that, Snook, right? So because I have a shocking memory, I'm taking notes as you give me my options, right? And one of the things I've actually done is in brackets, I've put little keywords that you used for some of them because some of the keywords stuck out to me as, oh, I may really like that one because of that, you know, that element that Snook has taken the time to mention. So it does.
Yeah.
It really matters, doesn't it? It really has an impact.
I know I can be wordy, and I've told my friends I can be long-winded. I know when I'm excited about something, but that's the importance of language, and that's core to why I enjoy D&D, is because these words help, you know, it evokes something in people's brains. It inspires their imagination. When I say flooded layer or sandstorms and bone-strewn, you know, canyons, it's like, that's supposed to paint the picture in the person's head. So they go, oh, I like the sound of that. That tickles my brain.
Definitely. And it's interesting, isn't it? Do you ever have this, Snook? You talk about, you know, you're aware that, you know, you're verbose, you're worthy, right? You go into the detail. That's important. But do you ever feel as a DM, like, the kind of pressure to rein that in? Or do you think, actually, no, I need to go full in because actually the more detail I give, the more I'm immersing people? What do you think?
I firmly believe that's contextual. And what I mean by that is, say we are just skipping past some already rolled survival checks in the wild while the party is crossing through the terrain. I might try to stretch it out a little bit and explain some of the sights that they see, the smells, you know, how it feels. Maybe it's a summertime travel, but they get this nice cool rain during their journey. Like, sometimes I'll go into that detail, but if we're stuck for time, I just try to hit the most important verbs and adjectives and move on.
Yeah.
Now, also...
Yeah, it's almost like a bit of read the room.
Yeah, and there's also little things, too. Like, if it's just a shopping episode and people are just doing shopping, I'll do little one-dimensional characters, and I will not go into great detail, because there's a balance between giving too much information and not enough. Yeah. And our job as DMs is knowing where that balance is.
Do you know what, Snook? I'm actually a terrible player in a few respects, right? Gray will tell you this. My most frequent DM, Gray, will tell you this. I have many flaws as a player, but one of them is I have such a low attention span for some of the logistics of an adventure, right? Things like, where are we going to sleep tonight? What inn has got space? We've got to organise a room to sleep in. I'm like, let me sleep on the street. Let's keep moving to the fun bits. But it's terrible, isn't it? Like, I feel bad for it. But it is that, like you say, it's a balance. Yeah, Gray doesn't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay.
I know what you're talking about, because sometimes I do the same thing, but with my experience overall, I really do enjoy having all of that figured out, because, again, I started in AD&D, which was very simulation. So for me, that stuff matters, but... If I'm playing in a game where I know nobody else really cares, I'm not going to be that guy. You know, it's like, if we're just, okay, yeah, we're taking a rest, whatever, all right, cool, we're done, you know. But if I'm playing in a sandbox open world game, like, oh yeah, no, we got to, who's taking watch, who's gathering food, who's setting up camp, you know, what are we doing about fire, what about fresh water, how are we handling this, you know. And again, it's always contextual, it's situational, so...
Can I raise something that's been said in chat?
Oh, yeah,
right? There's
sure.
a few comments. We'll try to catch up, guys, because I love some of the things you guys are sharing. Ansel said you've got to have a goblin shopkeep, right? Now that very simple comment, my friend, has drawn my attention to something, and I want to call it almost like the NPC phenomenon. Snook, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this.
Yes. Bobble and the
those
Goblin.
Little moments. Well, but like this moment, right, of kind of, you know, maybe an NPC that you as a DM make, and you're like, this is going to be a throwaway. This is going to be a brief shopkeeper that we're never going to come back to. And they can be some of the most amazing characters that players latch on to, right? So these can be really important moments.
I love it, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I fucking hate it too.
Doesn't every DM?
But that's what gives me such pride in playing D&D and being a DM is like, I can have this completely throwaway character. It's like, okay, it's some hunchback dude and he's selling potions, right? That's all I got for him. I don't even have a fucking name. And they're like, oh, what's his name? Oh, what's his shop look like? Oh, how old is he? Hey, can we ask him this? And I'm like, I did not expect to play this character for this long. And then as soon as they get back, yeah, let's go see that old hunchback shopkeeper. Like, oh God, I forgot how that accent went. Oh shit. Like,
yeah,
I love those moments.
They're brilliant. Yeah. They're brilliant surprises, aren't they? And I just wanted to draw attention to that because I think it's so fantastic when you have those moments and people that, characters that people cling to. And it's a fascinating tell, isn't it? Of, oh, I'm learning something about my players because you're learning about what does engage them, what gets them invested, whether it is a big story arc or whether it's one NPC that you wish they hadn't clung to, but they did.
Well, that's...
but you're always learning.
Really quick on this, I do want to interject. This is why I love D&D, because this relates to a story that I had with one of my newer players. Actually, Arnzul's brother. This is his story. So he was a Dragonborn Eldritch Knight in Horde of the Dragon Queen, because this was still early 5e, right? So I got them playing this, and they're going through the beginning town, which it's the first. There's no spoilers here, and if you don't like spoilers, it's literally for the very, very beginning. When they get to the town of Greenest, it's being assaulted by bandits, cultists, and kobolds. Well, they ended up kidnapping one of these kobolds to interrogate later. And when they finally got around to interrogating him, this dude who I thought was just going to straight up murder the fucking kobold when they were done, he goes, how does he look? I was like, where are you going with this? He goes, does he look hungry? Does he look sick? Is he injured? I was like, why do you care? He goes, well, I want to take care of him, right? So I was like, okay, sure, yeah. And he was like, well, I've got this meat from whatever I think it was some kind of drake that they fought at some point. And he's like, well, I got this meat that we cooked. Like, can I give it to him? Will he eat it? I was like, only one way to find out. So I just rolled behind the screen. I didn't even, that's my favorite thing as a DM is I can lie. I'll just roll to say something, but I already know what I'm going to do. So
I love that. You got to do it sometimes. Got to be done.
Keep them on their toes. So when I was like, yeah, the kobold eats it. And he actually he starts becoming friendly. He was like, great. Okay. So to condense all of that, this guy ended up making this little kobold, his Dragonborn squire. Okay.
Oh my God.
That's not even the best part.
That's amazing.
We get through the vast majority of that campaign, and then we end up pivoting over to Curse of Strahd to break up the monotony a little bit. He's like, hey, so my squire, can I play as him in this campaign? And I was like,
oh my God.
You want to? He goes, yeah. I want to play as Nox. That was his character's name. So I was like, okay, yeah, you make the character. He brought me a whole full-on, written out, very, very intricate history of this kobold up to the point where he meets his other character and then explains how he became the rogue class and then specifically ended up as an arcane trickster. And I'm like, bro.
Wow. You've got to celebrate that, right? You've got to reward it.
And I told another friend about this because he was, I was trying to onboard him, and he goes, "You can do that?" And I was like, "Bro, it's D&D. You can do anything."
Exactly. I
love
that.
The NPCs, man, it's always something with them. Always. Sorry,
100%.
We did totally sidetrack.
No, I was getting too excited by comments in chat because I know Incia said that they relate with the problem of NPCs, that people want to go back to a tavern that they were in 15 sessions ago, casually talking to the NPC. I have to remember the voice of personality and name again.
And I hate that because...
isn't it? It's that.
Yeah, they'll make a note of the name that you just threw off, and you never think of this character ever again. And it's the one time you don't expect them to remember. They come to town. They're like, "Hey, let's go talk to this guy," and you're like, "Who?
What? Who? Yeah. Wait, what? I don't think I wrote his name down. Yeah."
It gets me every damn time.
Oh God. I love it. Well, Snook, should I choose from the 5 things that you gave me? Let's have a little look. So no, don't say sorry. Don't say sorry. I'm loving the chat, and that's one of the fun things about this is just see where it takes us. Right? It's been interesting. It's been brilliant. Right. I'm gonna go with Jungle Ruin because I really liked. I wrote down keywords of the Guardians. I thought that was really funky, and the idea of there's a lot of room for like playing with the traps and kind of ancient buildings and structures. And I just think that could be really
Yeah.
interesting. So that's
Okay.
one for me for
So
sure.
Jungle Ruins.
Yep.
And then
And I quite like the Desert Badlands. I've put the Nomads. I think it's interesting to see, societies of people that live so differently and living like seeing very different ways of being. And I think the Nomads are such an interesting thing for that.
yeah.
It's like my instinct.
They're kind of like you could consider them maybe almost like the Vistani from Curse of Strahd, just maybe it's other cultural influences, but same concept. They just travel. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
100%.
So, the
Amazing.
biomes that we have to choose for this adventure will be Jungle Ruins or Desert Badlands. If we can get that poll up. Awesome. Nice. There it is.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. That was quick. Yeah.
GG's. GG's, Ray. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. Beautiful.
All right.
Thank you. Well, there you go. That's running. Beautiful.
Okay. So, since we've been talking about this, right, we already kind of got into the next section that I wanted to discuss with you. I want to know from you, and then I'll share my piece, what makes a session great to you? And this could be as a player or as a DM, but I want to know from your perspective, is it like player choices with unexpected chaos? Or is it, amazing unexpected role play, or maybe big epic combats that you weren't expecting? Like, I want to hear your point of view as a DM about all of that.
Oh, as a DM, yeah. Yeah, because I was just thinking then maybe you'd have perhaps. It's weird. I don't know if you would, Snoop, but I'm kind of thinking, would I have a different answer to this question if I'm putting my player head on or my DM head on? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm going to think about my DM head. And one of the things that fascinates me, and this always comes back to, as I keep talking about these rich personal backstories, these character backstories that I invest so much in because I think that's what motivates a lot of my players. I call them the Oscar-winning performances, these little moments where we have a scene, and say, for example, in my campaign, kind of opposing, conflicting factions is a huge thing for me. I think that's really interesting, kind of opposing belief systems. And, we've had so many conversations now where we might have two characters from very different worlds come together and have to deal with some kind of moral issue or a kind of question, and they have such different perspectives, and my players just amaze me because they get into the scene so much. I don't even have to do anything. I'm sat there as a DM watching the beauty of their role play, and I'm so impressed by what they've brought to life. That's my favorite moments.
Yeah, that is amazing.
That's my favorite.
Especially among either friends that you didn't expect it from, or if you're doing just a game with strangers and it takes off like that. Now, it's a very fine line with strangers, but I'm the same way. Sitting there watching them do all the work, that's what I want as a DM. It's like, I'll give you the very basics, and they just run with it. It's like, I had no idea what was supposed to be here. They're talking about, there's bookshelves over here, and we got this nice dining area over here, and it's like, I didn't think of any of that crap. I'm just doing what you guys say.
Yeah. Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, at least for me as a DM,
so many things, but that's huge for me. Yeah, go for it, Snook.
Well, I'm going to follow up with a very specific question along the same vein, but for me as a DM, like, I think truly that you hit what I was pretty much going to say was when all I do is just give them the most basic of information and they turn it into something completely different than what I expected, and they carry the whole scene where I don't have to do anything. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, because sometimes the players will just come in and they're like role playing a whole scene, and it's like just enough time that I can sit back and organize my notes for the next scene, or just sit there and enjoy it. Like, this is what I meant for this to be. You can just kind of bask in the moment,
Do you know what? This is really drawing comparisons to me that I didn't expect. I'm sitting here thinking about how much this all sounds like being a teacher. And so
Yeah.
When I'm sitting here thinking about my years as a teacher, I'm thinking about all those moments of, yeah, okay, I've put some planning in, but actually the real reward comes from when you're able to give, students, young people, adult learners, whoever it is you're working with, when you're able to give them very little, but they bring so much. So actually you're doing less of the work, they are doing more of the work, they're doing some of the deeper thinking, and you're able to see just how much they get from it and what they give you back. It's such a transactional thing, isn't it?
Yes. And honestly, that was another point that I wanted to make. As far as my book is concerned, that was one of the things that I wanted to include and let people know is it is also about learning how to embrace a leadership experience, right?
Yeah.
And as a teacher, you have to be a leader. So if you expect people to understand what it is that you're trying to do and you want them to buy in and go along with you, you have to understand how to maneuver people's emotions and their thoughts as a leader, much like a teacher does, to keep the students involved. Because if they're completely blank, everything you're doing is for nothing.
Yeah, 100%. You've got to have that kind of, you know, not even meeting you halfway, but some kind of, like you mentioned the word earlier, collaboration, right? If it's a one-sided thing, it's never going to be engaging, immersive for anyone. So it's really important that the two worlds come together in that. I think that's really key.
Yep,
Definitely.
I definitely agree. Now, specifically to you, here's something that
Go
I
on.
want to know. So,
I'm intrigued.
transitioning from just as a player to a DM, what was the biggest surprise to you about
Oh.
DMing versus just playing? Like, was it just gave you a different perspective, or was it that you now had to, think of all of the possibilities? Like, what was it that struck you as your biggest oh wow in transitioning that way?
Oh, that's such a hard question, Nick. I'm really thinking about. That's so
Look,
difficult.
I really put some thought into this. Okay, I came
Yeah, I
prepared.
know. I'm thinking. I'm like, damn. It's just interesting, isn't it? Thinking about that difference. I think I don't know if this is perhaps what you mean, right? But I'm gonna go with my instinctive thought, and it's a couple of things, and it's basically this idea of it does give you a different perspective, and it gave me 100% a greater appreciation of what DMs do, because I think as much as you do look at the DM and you think they put so much work into this and they're doing it feels like a lot of the legwork because they are effectively building a world for you to
Yeah,
freely explore and move around, right? It's a lot of work. Let's call it what it is. It is a lot of planning that goes into it. Even when your players do meet you at that same enthusiasm level. And I think so. It gave me an appreciation for DMs because I think I had a shock. Right, I'll tell you another one of my flaws as a player. Right, we'll share Cassidy's flaws as a player. Another one of my issues is that I am not a note taker.
oh,
I am not a note taker.
oh,
I'm terrible. I'm the worst kind, Snook. And I always rely on particularly one of my best friends who is the note taker. She is
yeah,
fantastic and she does all the notes and she's so thorough that she almost covers it all for all of us. But
yeah, yeah,
obviously, you can get a certain point with that as a player.
y- y-
When you DM, that is a
yeah,
whole different thing. You have got to be
exactly.
more on it. And that's something I still
Yes.
struggle with. Trying to
Oh,
be in the moment and
you,
make sure I'm being attentive to my players, but also making sure I'm keeping note of all these important things. It's such a struggle. And I
right.
really found that difficult.
Right, and that's what I think was so interesting to witness with a lot of other people because to me, again, it was just such a natural progression of playing as a kid, as a teenager, and then now as an adult. I didn't really consider that, but it is a thing where you start to realize, wow, as a player, I only have to worry about my character. That's it. My character and their little
Yeah.
details. That's it. And when you put it
Yep.
into perspective, when I hear players, and I understand this might come out wrong, but when I hear players going, "Oh, it's so much to understand and so much to learn," no, no, it's not. All you're worried about is your character. I have to worry about the world, the denizens in
Yep.
it, the environments, the potential dangers, the repercussions, the ripple effect, plus all of the magical effects, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's like once you get behind the screen, you realize, oh, this is why they get burned out. Yeah. So I like that
No,
answer. Thank you
definitely.
for
Yeah,
answering that.
being honest.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think it was a shock to the system. I mean, have you been a player much, Snook? I don't know if I've asked you that.
Yes and no. For the vast majority of my time playing, and I'm at like 25 years experience playing, right? When I
Wow.
started, I was just 9 years old. So very
Mm,
early on, I was just a player. Nobody really trusted me to be a DM. And I was okay with that because I just wanted to play.
mm.
Then about high school, that's about the time where I was trying to get others to play because the dudes that I used to play with, they were older than me, so they had all gone off to college by the time I had gotten to high school. So I tried to get a lot more of my people into it again by introducing them through Knights of the Old Republic, and I was like, it's that's what D&D is. It's just not Star Wars, right? And so
Yeah.
when I did that, that was the moment where I went from a player and occasional DM to forever DM. And it's a joke. We make a joke about it because there's always that one guy. That guy is me. I am okay with it. I've trademarked it. It's a registered trademark. Forever DM. I'm totally cool with it. I
Yep.
embrace it because, again, I feel like I have a unique perspective of experience where it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me at all.
Mm,
I love being the DM. I prefer
yeah.
to be the DM over being a player.
That's fair. That's fair. And it's interesting because I just wondered, I thought, have you ever given much thought to that transition yourself? Because it was obviously so long ago and,
Yeah.
you've had such heavy experience of DM now. Like, what stood out to you as that transition from player to DM, if anything at all?
Yeah, I mean that's really about it.
Mm,
It came naturally, and in retrospect, that's really about it. Is just the fact that I understood what went into it already, but
yeah.
when I was trying to introduce other people to it, that's when I really had to consider all of the variables of DMing, and that's when I really started getting into it. So yeah, and that's another point from chat. Like, you don't have to necessarily be a great note taker, but
Mm,
you do have to have a certain level of discernment when you're doing things, so that you don't lose things. Like, yeah, you can't note every detail about a character like a player could because you have so much more to worry about, and
yeah.
that's a big part that I think scares people. And I've heard people
Hmm.
tell me that, oh, there's so much you got to know. There's so much. Yes, but that doesn't matter. You could never have played before and start off as a DM and be a great DM.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
all about confidence and social skills and leadership. That's all it is.
Hmm. Yeah, 100% agree. Definitely.
So, what was our answer to the poll of the
It was the
biome?
jungle
It was
ruins.
the
The
jungle
jungle
ruins.
ruins,
Okay.
Snook.
All right. I like this. This sounds good.
Yeah, we're getting quite a mix. I love it.
Now, I would like to move to the fifth part because the sixth part you and I
Yeah.
are going to share. So
Okay.
this is the
I'm
last one
intrigued.
of just you picking two. So now we
Okay.
have to figure out the denizens. Who lives in this dungeon? Who is the main antagonist? Like the monsters that we're going to encounter? Like, who are the
Mm-hmm.
minions to the big bad evil guy? Who lives here? Whether they're related to the big
Mm,
bad evil guy or not. Because you could always have skeletons in one side of a dungeon while you've got a dragon in the other, right? It can happen. So,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in this particular dungeon in a jungle ruin, who lives here? Is it an
Okay.
undead horde, so skeletons, wights, and spectral horrors? Is it dragons minions, like cultists, kobolds, and wormlings? Is it aberrations, like mind flayers, beholders, and other horrors from beyond? Is it fiends, like demons and devils, with, contracts or just bloodlust? Or perhaps it's twisted elves, corrupted by dark magic or cursed in some way?
Mm.
I think
I think, go on,
I was going to
Snook.
say, I think this might influence our next part, but this is at
Yeah.
least going to be interesting because I want to know what your two top are.
Okay. I think I do always love the idea of the aberrations because I think I just love this concept, the horrors from beyond. Something like
Oh, yeah.
unknowable, something beyond our knowledge that is just going to almost just like be so I'm trying to think of the right word. I don't want to say
So powerful it's
uncanny.
beyond comprehension.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, and I suppose it links to that idea of forbidden knowledge that we have maybe already raised here, right? Like that
Hmm.
might be an interesting concept that it kind of works with that quite well. So that kind of sticks out.
Okay.
Um, and do you know what? I quite like the idea of the twisted elves
Okay.
because I know it sounds weird, but I'm thinking of Skyrim and the Falmer and
No,
all
that
this kind of
makes sense.
stuff,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that's always really intrigued me.
that was another point that I wanted to bring up too. Is Elder Scrolls again would not exist without D&D.
Yep.
I mean, all these games and everything, you guys have to understand it's truly inspired by tabletop role playing. Like I brought up Supernatural last time, also like True Blood, Vampire Diaries. All of those are impacted and
Yeah.
influenced by World of Darkness and Vampire the Masquerade. Like some of them they almost straight up just ripped off with no credit whatsoever, and in other places
Yep.
they kind of like it was the same thing but not really, you know. Okay, so we've got aberrations and corrupted elves. All right.
Yeah. Great. Let us know if you need a reminder of that, but let us know if you need any help with the poll. But that's awesome. I love those two. Very interesting. See where that takes us. Are you writing it in? Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna try and put it in chat, but I don't think I spelled aberrations correctly.
Oh, I probably would have done the
Aberrations.
same.
Aberrations. Okay, I forgot
Let's
an extra
time a
R.
night.
There we go.
Oh dear.
Okay. So,
Amazing. Thank
the
you.
next part that I wanted to try and go over with you was, in your opinion, now that we've kind of gone over with each other what it's like to DM, what we like about the game and playing it, where it's come from, how it's influenced everything else, what we've learned from it, where do you see the future of D&D and other tabletop RPGs going? So this would be like, do you think streaming culture, like Critical Role and stuff like that, is really going to carry it? Or what are your opinions on indie RPGs? Have you tried any? Like, what was it that... was it Cosmic mentioned? Somebody mentioned another one, the lasers one. I can't remember the name.
I think that was Incia that mentioned
Yeah.
that lasers and I can't remember.
Yeah.
Incia, you can probably remind us.
Remember us.
I know
Remember
I'm terrible.
me.
I can't speak at this point. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, lasers and
Lasers
feelings.
and
There we go.
Feelings.
Yeah, because that's an indie game
Perfect.
too. Like, there's a lot of indie games. They're really good. Even if you never plan on playing them, even if you're just interested and you want extra inspiration for your D&D games, you can use other RPGs for that. It's so fun to do that.
I think one of the things you mentioned straight away, like when you talk about the indie RPGs, that's interesting to me because I have played one other system, and I assume this fits the description. I don't know if you know it. I think it's called Tales of the Loop.
Yep, that one
I
I'm
don't know if you've
familiar
ever
with.
heard it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fascinating. I had someone approach me and say, "Look, I've got this different system. I want to try this out. It's a really different setup, but it shares a lot of similarities, but there will be some difference in mechanics.
Yeah.
Do you want to try it?" And I loved it. I suppose it felt. Yeah, it was awesome writing. So, like, I suppose it felt, I don't want to say like a little bit Stranger Things, but just that real, like,
Yeah.
childish charm. Because a lot of your characters are, children or early adolescent, and you're given that kind of setup, and it's just a really fun way to see the world differently and to role play differently. And it was challenging, but just so creatively stimulating, I guess. Like, it just got me thinking in a whole different way. And I think something that I would like to keep going is these opportunities for these kind of different systems to keep building and kind of different ways of seeing things. So those indie RPGs I think would be really interesting to see that grow and gain traction and gain exposure, people hearing about them more. It's awesome to see a few of you guys recognizing it and knowing of that one.
Yeah. There's one I would like to piggyback off of that. I haven't looked into it myself yet. I have checked out Tales from the Loop. I've got something on Roll20 for it, and I've bought it on Humble Bundle, which, by the way, great RPG stuff. Always check out Humble Bundle. And there was another one that I'd heard of. Was what do they call it? Kids with Bikes, I think is what they call it. and it's supposed to be very similar in presentation. But yeah, there's any kind of RPG you could think of. More than likely, it exists, and a lot of people are just so unaware of what's out there. Like, maybe you wanted an actual space game, you could always play Traveler, or you could play GURPS and just use the space rules. Or you could play the Warhammer 40K RPGs. You could play Star Trek. You could play, maybe you want something a little bit more modern. You can go old school. Maybe you like 3rd edition rules. You can play D20 Modern. Or, there's just so many options out there. I really wish more people would branch out, and I wish they would try to embrace other games, because D&D is my personal favorite, of course, but there's so many other great ones too. There's so many more out there. Like we were talking about Vampire the Masquerade earlier, that's always been D&D's biggest competitor, has always been that. Not the clones of D&D, not all of the extra additional third-party content. The only RPG that has ever stood toe-to-toe with D&D is Vampire the Masquerade, and so many people don't know it exists.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because I suppose I've known about it for a while, and do you know what? It's funny, actually. One of the first times I properly heard about it was actually going to see Critical Role live at Wembley Arena. So I saw a live show of Critical Role, and I actually got chatting to a couple of people in the queue, because again, it's amazing when you bring nerds together and we've got commonality. It's so much to share with each other. It's brilliant. And I got chatting to people in the queue, and they were saying about some of the recent campaigns they'd had, and we were talking about sharing stories. And one of the things they mentioned was they'd been doing Vampire Masquerade, and I thought, that sounds fascinating. How have I not really heard about this before? How have I not done this before? Because I've always been fascinated by vampire fiction and kind of media, film, TV, even from a young kid. And the fact that I'd not found that out was wild, wasn't it? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's like, for me, I got interested because I grew up watching the, what was it? The 2000, no, it was 96 Dracula movie, I believe, with the real young Keanu Reeves. Like
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I grew up watching that one. I also was very into. I'm trying to think of the other stuff here, because it's right on the tip of my tongue. I just had it. That's how my brain works these days. But there, Anne Rice. Yeah, I read a bunch of Anne Rice in middle school.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yes. And then, of course, everyone loved Queen of the Damned, the movie. And I'll be honest, I liked the movie. So many people that were like, oh, the book was better. The books are always better. We know this. Yeah. But for a casual audience, dude, Queen of the Damned was top fucking tier. Pardon my F-bombs. I usually curse like a sailor, but I'm trying. It's for emphasis this time.
It's interesting, actually, because if we're talking about the films, right, like, for me, an Interview with the Vampire, or The Interview with the Vampire, sorry, that is one of the most stunning, what I would call epic films, because it feels like this long saga of storytelling. That is one of my favourite films of all time, because I adore it. I think it's well cast, and I think it's a beautiful piece of storytelling. Whereas it's interesting when you think about going from that and then to Queen of the Damned. They are very different vibes, which makes sense when you think about the books and everything. But yeah, very, very different tones. But I know that actually both have huge fan bases, and there's so many different ways that you can do those things, right? And express that kind of that world that Anne Rice built. Yeah,
and like was brought up in chat, the more you try other TTRPGs, the more support they'll have, and the more things you'll be able to enjoy. That is so true. That is why I always champion getting people into TTRPGs with D&D, but you should always aspire to go out and find the perfect game for you, because it's out there. And if it's not out there right now, you can play the ones that are close enough until the right one comes along. And if the right one never comes along, you can make your own, because it's all imagination and make-believe, and it's made-up bullshit. You can do whatever you want.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's all it ever has been, is just made-up stuff that it doesn't matter. Do what you want.
Yeah, have the fun. Explore your creativity. That's why I always describe DMing for me as yes and.
Yeah.
Because if I can make it work within the rules, if I can make it work within, the reality context of the world we've built, then I will. Because you want to reward that creativity of your players, right? People that are putting the effort in that you bring.
Yeah, and that's another part of it too that I love is usually the other players will jump in as soon as you find that one player in the group. They'll be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh, they're really driving some momentum. Okay, let me try to do this." And it gives them that confidence boost, and then that's when you know you've hooked them. You got all of your players
Yes.
so invested. You could do anything and they will love it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And it is just that building of rapport, building of understanding, and kind of that
Yep.
that that toing and froing. It's a collaboration. All these things are so important.
Yes.
And working together. Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that.
All
It's an
right.
awesome setup.
So what was our answer from the poll
We got
on the denizen?
50-50. We
Again,
got 50-50 again.
let's
Yeah,
combine
we
them
got
this
half and
time then.
half. Oh my god, go on.
I
We
say
got the
we
aberrations
have,
and the corrupted elves.
yeah, the elves are corrupted from horrors from beyond. So
Ooh,
they'll,
I love that.
yeah, there we go. I like
Okay, let
that
me
too.
make a
I
note.
think it's great.
Yes. I'm going to note that down. That is a very cool idea. I don't know if you could tell that I like that then. I got all excited.
This is what it is to be a dungeon master. You just take different ideas and run with it.
Yep.
So I do have one more question that I just want to ask you personally
Yeah, yeah.
before we start to wrap up, because I've already taken almost 2 hours of your time.
Dude, you haven't taken. You've blessed me with. Dude, it's been a great discussion. Honestly, I appreciate it. It's been so fun. Thank you for,
This has been
this
a
has been
long time
brilliant.
coming. Yeah.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
So, Cassidy, for
Yes.
you, what I want to know, and
Oh,
this isn't even DM to DM. This is more so person to person.
okay.
What's the most unexpected thing that you personally have learned about yourself from playing or
Oh,
running D&D?
oh, that's so difficult.
I
I'm gonna really think about this
I
for a
never
minute.
do anything half-assed, and I can't stand surface
Yeah.
level.
No, that's fair. I'm having a little think. Did you say surprising? Did you say surprising thing?
It could be surprising, but it's more so just whatever was unexpected, like something you learned about yourself that you didn't know before you ever played or ran D&D.
Hmm. It's
It,
interesting, isn't it, when you think about those kind of like I suppose we hinted at it very briefly at the start of this discussion was when I talked about, sometimes what you might create a character or maybe even as a DM you're creating an element of your world that perhaps you do it on a conscious or subconscious level, but it relates to you, it relates to some element of your personality, your kind of um self, things you might be experiencing. And I think I've talked about it a little bit, but maybe I'll mention this again. Um, One of my things might be just kind of realizing something that I did was really relevant to me, and I didn't realize it at the time. That might have been kind of surprising. It's not necessarily like something I've learned about my personality or anything like that, but it's kind of learning about almost something that was important to me, but I didn't even realize it at the time. And that for me was, I've got this character, I've got them tattooed on me. I've got a long sleeve, so you can't see. But this character that I've got tattooed on me, I've been playing this character for over 6 years. I gave them this core concept of um, a big life change. So they had this very structured beginning. They were actually with the Azorius Senate as a kind of like officer. They'd had this
ooh,
restructured law and order kind of beginning in life, and actually they were made a vampire through various things that happened. And they actually ended up kind of joining a monastery and exploring, discipline and order in a very different way. And their big concept, yeah, some big stuff there. Their big kind of, I suppose, path, their thing to explore was sense of identity. And, when things sometimes unexpectedly change, what do you do with that? Where do you go forward? What is your sense of identity? How do you build identity? How do you form your sense of self? And I think for me, answering your question, it's just that recognition of, gosh, maybe that character that I made over 6 years ago now was either a precursor to some really important things in my life or something that I was already struggling with on a level that I didn't even realise. And therefore, D&D can be so therapeutic and so introspective. And maybe I never expected that when I got together with my friends and my partner and started playing D&D for fun and get to know each other. Maybe that's it.
I like it. That's a good enough answer for me. I'm satisfied. That is, yeah, beautiful answer. Because, I mean, that's what it is. That's what the juice is learning what it is that maybe you were lacking at the time that you now possess, because you felt inspired or emboldened by this, or maybe it was just a stroke of luck that you can chalk up as, well, if I didn't have this knowledge before, right? I love that.
What would you say, Snook? What have you learned about yourself through the process?
Let's
Turn
see.
it back at you.
Yeah, no, actually, I didn't think you were going to turn that back on me.
Gotta get my payback.
Well, because, again, I was a kid when I first started, and a little backstory on my real life to help you guys have a little bit of context as to what I mean when I say that I spent a lot of time alone as a kid and reading was my bowels were all messed up. Like my intestines were really, really messed up. They were jumbled up in a mess, and I had a cyst growing in my gut. So for the first 10 years of my life, I could barely eat, and I was constantly throwing up, like whether I had anything to eat or not. And if I moved around too much, it caused like unbearable pain. I broke down and cried multiple times in school and got laughed at for it. People in my family said I was making it up and it was all in my head. And then one summer I'm at my mom's and I'm just feeling the worst. And she says that I had Ralphed and she saw blood in my Ralph, so she took me to the hospital. I can't verify because I was so sick. No, don't feel sorry for me. I appreciate that, but it's okay. What's done is done. Because that was the revelation, is I did go to the doctor. They found all this out. And finally there was that relief. And in that period, when I discovered D&D until that surgery happened, that was my escape. That's where I put all of myself, because it gave me the outlet to be who I wanted to be, who I needed to be, the person that I thought I could be, because in real life I couldn't be that person. And it gave me such an objective freedom of creativity that I never would have understood otherwise. Like, truly, honestly, I aspire to be as creative as my grandmother was. She was a painter, a musician, an author. I mean, this woman did it all. And that's where I want to take my life. I want to be as good as grandma was. So to take all of that pain and everything together and direct it into my creativity, that is what I got out of it, is how much I loved my creativity based on how much I loved my grandmother's creativity. She might have been able to do oil paintings and play an organ or a banjo, or even play an acoustic guitar and it sounds like two guitars. Like, that's how skilled this woman was. I loved her so much for her artistic skills. If I can even be a quarter of that as a dungeon master, as a writer, I will consider my life as well lived. So that's what I learned about myself, was my creativity. It's truly what makes me want to be alive.
I love that. That's an awesome answer, Snook.
I appreciate it. I know I'm long-winded, but sometimes context makes it important. You know?
Hell yeah, it does. Definitely.
And no, I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I almost got a little emotional there, but again, it's in the past. You know what? I can't hold that against anybody. I mean, sometimes I kind of do. So I'll admit it, but I'm only human, okay? Yeah, sometimes sometimes the bitterness does kind of bubble up, but usually I try to stay to myself when that happens, okay? But everything else that's happened since then, whether good or bad, has been constantly adding to what I pour into being a DM or creating worlds and characters. I always wanted to be an actor as a kid. Truly, honestly, I wanted to be a stage actor.
Too.
I
That
loved
legit was my dream. Yeah.
I loved Sir Patrick Stewart, and he was such a great stage actor. I loved watching Robin Williams as a kid, and
Yeah.
the way he made people laugh and brought people to, I wanted that power. That's what it was. I wanted that power.
Yeah.
But that's just not who I was. That's not what I was meant for. And instead, I get to exercise that like this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Dude, you build worlds. You demand the power and the attention of a room. Fuck yeah. That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's a different context, but you're still living that dream that you had all that time ago.
Yeah, and
That's amazing.
it's been amazing up to this point, like how many people I've met through this, how many people I've gotten into gaming in general, how many people I've inspired to dig deep into their own creativity. And I love it. I'm so proud of it. Like if that's the only thing I take away from this life, I'm going to be so happy because it's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Now,
Hell yeah, dude.
I want to move on really quick because I want to know the last part of our Build Your Adventure.
Yes. Let's do it. Part 6.
So this is, who exactly is the big bad evil guy?
Oh, okay.
So we've got an ancient archmage who maybe wants that forbidden knowledge for ultimate power, a fallen angel or some kind of fiend to give us a moral dilemma about whether to kill them or not, a living dungeon. So this is a dungeon that itself is actually alive and it wants something. So this could be like the dungeon technically goes into the belly of a Tarrasque or something like that.
Yep.
We've also got a cult leader. So maybe they want to use the forbidden knowledge to summon an elder evil. Or finally, a lich king or queen, some type of immortal sorcerer plotting a massive war, and that forbidden knowledge is exactly what they need to do it. So,
Yes.
we already know that the denizens are corrupted elves from, horrors from beyond. So, I'm personally kind of leaning towards maybe like a cult leader or an ancient archmage. What do you think?
I put cult leader as well as one of the things that stood out for me. I just think that could be really interesting. Some kind of evil from beyond. I think that would be really awesome.
All right, so then we'll go ahead and roll with that. Instead of you picking two, you picked cult leader. I will pick the archmage, and then we will give chat the opportunity to pick who the big bad evil guy is.
Beautiful.
And while that poll goes, I've got to explain to you why I wanted to do this. So we'll do.
Context.
So we're going to say here. I'll put it in chat if I can.
Perfect.
Archmage or cult leader. There we go. Yeah, cosmic. I'm in agreement. Classic lich, man. That's why a Sararak was on the cover of the Dungeon Master's Guide, or the 2014 version, anyways.
I'm just gonna put this one together.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I
I'm just gonna do this one.
I also started to space out a little bit, so.
Don't worry. The problem is, right, my two mods, my beautiful mods, they're both UK based, so we're all supposed to be sleeping now.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Easily enough, I can do it, so it's easy peasy. So I'm just gonna put this into chat.
This has been such a fun 2 hours. I'm so glad we did this.
Oh yeah, it has. There we go. I think that's all created for people, so please do vote if you would like to. It's about 1:30 in the morning for me, Cosmic, at the moment. There we go.
It's only 8:36. Well, actually, more like 8:30 because my computer's a little bit faster. And it's like 8:30 p.m. here.
Yeah, I'm expecting the Americanos to keep me awake in my early morning.
That's why when you suggested this time, I was like, no, that's perfect because I know I'll be up and it'll be late for you, so it'll work out great. So
yeah, it's perfect.
The reason I wanted to do this whole choose your own dungeon kind of thing is because I wanted to get an idea of what you thought was fun and see how we can string it all together to make one full continuous adventure.
Interesting.
So maybe you can take this idea and maybe develop your own one-shot D&D adventure based on the things that we developed right here on stream. Because if you don't do it, I will.
It's been an awesome mix, right? And you know what strikes me about that, and maybe you touch on it in your book, right, is this kind of idea of when you decide you want to explore becoming a DM, I think there's a lot of anxiety or, just maybe nervousness or uncertainty even about, oh my gosh, how much work is this going to take? Like, how difficult is it? How am I going to do this? Am I the right kind of person who can do this? Is this beyond me? And there's all these kind of worries that can surround it. But actually, when you look at what we've done in these couple of hours and the simple choices that we've just kept it simple and we've said, right, this or this, this or this, we have already built the foundation of something super interesting.
Yeah.
And that can spark imagination, and that can give someone perhaps that start of, I can do this. I feel passionate about this. Wow, I've got my way in, rather than looking at the blank page and not knowing what to do, right?
I'm so glad you said that, Cassidy, because that's pretty much, that right there is the spiel for my book, is I'm trying to get people to open up their imagination by really accessing their creativity by going, just this little detail sparked this whole train of thought that led to me wanting to do something. So it would be like, maybe if you're walking in your own town, you guys are British, so you've got some really old buildings, right? Maybe you're going by a building that it's normal in your neighborhood, right? But one day you happen to notice a door that you didn't notice before, and it's ornate, but it looks like it hasn't been opened in a while. What do you think is on the other side? That right there is enough to make a whole campaign. What if it's
I love
that door is your version of the rabbit hole from Alice in Wonderland? All it takes is that one time you decide to go, I wonder what's in here, and you're whisked away to another world.
Yep.
That's literally what my book is about. Is it's empowering people to say, you can do this. It's not as hard as you might think. As soon as you can suppress the anxiety and just start doing, you'll realize how easy it actually is. It's not difficult. It's as difficult as you make it.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think, Incia, you've raised a really interesting comment in chat, if I can draw attention to that. You said it's actually quite interesting that it helps you build an adventure knowing that it's what you'd like if you were playing.
Yes.
Isn't that a good point?
That's a very good point. Simple as that. And I agree. That's a lot of what I do. Like my homebrew campaign that everyone loved, I literally built it on the idea of, I want this campaign to be just like the old school ones where beast races just weren't normal in society. So they have to have a really good reason, and they will face a lot of discrimination, right? But when I was met with my players and I told them, I only have about 2/3 of this place filled out, I'm leaving it up to you guys to help me fill it in. I presented my creativity to them, the thing that I wanted to enjoy playing, and they filled in the rest and made it something that I couldn't have done on my own. And I appreciate it more now than I did when I started. Because it was what would I like to play? Yeah. Well, what if we had magic on one side of the continent that's its own ruling body, and we had another, maybe a mega church, and the faith was literally the ruling class in this city. They're on opposite ends of the continent from each other. They barely influence one another. But neither of them is necessarily loyal to the throne.
Yeah, there's like these little commonalities or little links or associations that can be built and can make for really interesting dynamics, right?
Yeah, and I left that as like maybe part of the story is going to be them convincing the mages to, serve the emperor. Since in lore, I'm going to spoil it for everybody. The emperor in my games is a gold dragon. That's why he's lived for like thousands of years. But the common people don't know that. They just think it's the same bloodline, just keeps producing the same person over time. But those that actually know better, because the dragon will polymorph to look like he's aged. And then, that guy's too old, let me go back. So I look human, but he has golden eyes. That's his giveaway. So they've done a lot to fill it in. I've done a lot on my end to try and build what I wanted to play. But at this point, now it's more so what ideas do I think are cool? That's all.
Yeah.
And that's all it is.
Cool, that's it. Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Keep it simple, keep it fun and creative, and that's what it's about, right?
Yeah. All right. Is that poll done, or are we
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now I'm
Yes,
interested.
we've got the ancient archmage wins.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Hey, Kitty Bubbles.
I like this. Let me bring up.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know all of the things in order.
Yep, I've got them listed. I've got them written down.
Okay, we've got.
You might remember some of them.
Yeah, what was that? So we're starting in Eberron.
Yep.
All right, and then it's going to happen. Initially, start at a noble ball.
Master ball.
Yeah. Okay, and then we are going to be searching for forbidden knowledge, right?
Forbidden knowledge. Yeah.
Okay. And then it is going to lead us to the dungeon that's in a jungle, right?
Yes, jungle ruin.
Yes, jungle ruin. That is filled with cosmic... Yeah, cosmic...
elves.
Horror...
Yeah, aberrations.
Cosmic horror elves. We'll just make it simple. Okay. And then the big bad evil guy is an archmage. Evil archmage. Okay. So from all of this, let me copy paste this on an actual document so I don't lose it. Because if I don't, I will, as that's how I am. All right. Let me create a new document. I don't know why this is taking so long. Thank you.
You're all good. Also, Cosmic, why have you just shouted your own name in chat? Cosmic has just shouted Cosmic in chat.
Cosmic! Because the cosmic horror, yeah.
I was like, Cosmic, why are you shouting your own name? Is it like a Jason moment? Jason, Cosmic.
All right. So now what I think of this is basically we want to go from point to point and just kind of fill in some of the blanks so that you would basically be able to run your own a one-shot adventure just based on this information. So we're starting in Eberron, and Eberron is currently in a state of recovery after the last great war, where Warforged and science and artificers all came into a clash with wizards, and it devastated whole countrysides. Entire continents are reeling from the actual amount of devastation that had happened. Yet, nestled in all of this, somewhere, I'm not as familiar with Eberron, so I'm not going to state a place, somewhere nearby, there is a noble's ball taking place in one of the larger cities that still is, close enough to the wilderness that's undevastated to still be a safe place. Now, inside of the noble's ball, since it's a noble's ball, we'll just assume that maybe you were invited, like the party was invited from previous heroics. Maybe they did something in the city that gave them a bit of a little bit of a reputation, at least a good one. So they get called here by a noble, and the noble says, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. We got some stuff happening, and I'm gonna trust you with the details. But essentially, my family knows of an ancient knowledge that's very dangerous, and we don't want it to fall into the wrong hands, but we're pretty sure it already has. So if you guys could go clear that up for us, thanks."
The classic.
And then the party spends maybe a little bit of time in the city. They go to all of the deep libraries or any fonts of knowledge that they can access. And this is all off the top of my head, by the way. I'm trying to keep it all together. So they end up meeting maybe a sage that's been buried in tomes for the last decade, completely ignored whatever was going on. And that's who tells them of this jungle ruin, where they know that this forbidden knowledge lies deep within the depths. As long as you can get past any of the horrors that seem to fill the halls from beyond that make the dungeon darker than dark. So the party steels themselves, they prepare, they head through the jungle. And of course, maybe they have to fight some clay guardians that lay in wait, and then they have to avoid not being knocked out by noxious gases or possibly even some venomous other natural predators. Before long, they finally reach the jungle, the ruin. And as they delve deep into it, they encounter elves that are corrupted. They have blackness in their eyes. There's no pupils, no iris, nothing. It's pure blackness. And their skin has been turned pale, and it has streaks of black running across from their eyes, their mouths, up their arms, down their necks, everywhere that the party can see. Unfortunately, there is no reasoning with them. They've been corrupted, their minds are gone, and unfortunately, the players must slay them. And after a long, long, deep battle, going through this ruin that could be filled with whatever you decide, they finally face down with an archmage. Come up with a name. Lord Nepharos. And
I love that.
His whole thing is simply, I need this knowledge. I need it because my master's beyond call. And when they arrive, I want to be ready. What do we do about this guy? Do we kill him or do we hear him out? What's his motivation? Well, that's for the players to decide.
That is amazing. I love how you've like fleshed that out, bringing everything together, filling in those gaps, and it's so easily done. It really is.
That was all I wanted to show with this, was that we collaboratively came up with this, which is the core of Dungeons and Dragons, is being social and collaborative. We even involved chat, who probably thought they wouldn't have anything to do with this discussion other than being chat. Now, everybody is free to take this idea that we created here today and make your own adventure out of it. Whether you run it just for an off week, with your group, or maybe you've never played before, but now you want to. You want to see, like, wait, what can I do with this? Who can I get to play this game with me? Do it. You will not regret it.
Hell yeah. Oh, Snook, that
Thank
is
you.
awesome. What a cool concept. Thank you for coming here. Honestly, dude, as soon as we had this thought, I was so excited about doing this, because I just thought, I cannot think of anyone better to invite along and just hear your thoughts on all these amazing topics. I know you put a lot of thought into this. Yeah, we have to do a shout out for you, dude. It's just got to be done, mate. Because honestly, guys, Snook has put so much thought into this. And I know, obviously, this is your streaming that we're shouting out here. But people can obviously make sure they're following you. They might get kind of updates. I know you'll be streaming in the future, I'm sure. Whatever it is, whatever direction you decide to go in. Do you want to say a little bit about, I know we've hinted towards the book that you're working on. You've got this amazing project, official release later this month. Do you want to give people a little summary of what this is all about? Why we came up with this? Because it's such a brilliant project you've got going.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can bring it up on screen. I don't know if it'll transfer over, but we gonna find out. I'm going to have to exit full screen here, and we will do this. I don't know if it's showing.
I'll move my screen if I need to.
Okay. I don't know how it's going to come up on your screen. I don't think it will, but I do have this link. I don't know why it's an extra long link. It's usually shorter than this, but here we go. That would be the link right there. That is a massive link. I don't know why, but anyways, It works. This is Beyond the Dice, a pocket guide for game masters. And this is a little something that I've been working on for about the past year, for almost about as long as I've known Cassidy, like, genuinely. So, thank you, Cypher. This book here is basically me trying to condense all of my knowledge, all of my creative outlets, the way that I access what it is that allows me to really run an immersive game and come up with just the craziest ideas that I can, things that I think are cool, that I want to share with the world. And this book is intended to basically help you feel like your ideas are getting better because you're thinking beyond surface level things. So if you struggle with connecting to your creativity, or if you just want to be like a better storyteller, this is basically what my book is. It's not fluffy. It started as like, this is my third time. Like, this is the third version.
Snoop, just to let you know, ads
Yeah.
have started on your screen.
Oh,
Just so you know,
NBA.
because we've lost you. But we can still hear you. Just so you know.
Oh no. All right. It's fine. As long as you can hear me, I don't mind the ads.
Yes,
it is what it is.
I can.
So, long story short here is, no matter who you are, this is a book about leadership. It's about compromise. It's about learning how to adequately socialize with others. And like I said before, this is my third version of it. Because my first version, I was like, shit, man, I was like over 40,000 words into it. And I'm like, this is just an autobiography. Like, why am I doing this? I wanted to talk about D&D. So I scrapped it all and I started all over again. And I did a basic rundown version. And then I tried to edit it and it just didn't flow right. So I took those concepts and then I redid it all. And I was just, here we go. I'm going to do run-on sentences. I will turn it into paragraphs. Those paragraphs are going to lead, chronologically through the information that I feel is necessary to get to the examples that I offer. And some of the examples that I offer would be things like, for example, just getting those ideas or sensory details. Those are the things that I try to go over in the book so that other people will know it's okay. Whatever it is that you think you know, there's more that you don't. Everybody can always learn more. So seek out different experiences. Go watch old movies. Go listen to music that you've never listened to before. Even if you just wrote it off. Like, if you're a metalhead, like, go listen to some K-pop. Like, it'll give you ideas, man. Like, you'd be surprised. Maybe you grew up in the country and you hate country music and bluegrass. Go listen to some bluegrass. I guarantee it might spark something. You'll be like, oh yeah, I could hear a bard playing this song. Maybe that's one of your major NPCs now. Like, that's what it all leads to, is to basically allow you to fine-tune your players' experiences, to get your brain churning with ideas, avoid letting the game grind to a halt so you can improve your improv, and just, in general, basically better narrative quality at your games. That's the whole point of the book. It's not a very long book. And I'm only doing an ebook right now, which does officially drop on the 30th, Tuesday the 30th.
Exciting.
But I am working on a print version that should be available before Thanksgiving, so that the print version can be purchased like throughout the Christmas holiday. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Amazing. Yeah. Oh, dude, how exciting. Honestly, it sounds so interesting. And just to say, like, I'm just super impressed and I respect you so much for getting this going. Like, it's not easy, is it? Even if it's something that you know inside out and it's one of your passions, to really write something, see that project through and get something published, that is not to be sniffed at, right? Like, dude, you should be so proud. Like, this hasn't even officially released yet, but that is so exciting. And as soon as you told us, I was like, we need to talk about this. Because honestly, wow. And so many people would not finish this. Right. Or would not see it through. And you've done an amazing thing.
Trust me, there were times that I gave up and I didn't look at it for a month.
Yeah.
And then when I finally had that inspiration hit me, I was like, no, I can do this. This is what I need to do. It even made me go back and reread some of my older RPG books so that I could have some perspective and be like, no, I need to listen to other people's voices more to help condense my ideas and make them flow better, right? Because again, I'm very wordy. I ramble. I yap. I know this. It's who I am, Now, if
I love it.
I appreciate it because a lot of people find it annoying. This is why I stayed alone and to myself throughout like elementary and middle school. But it was tough to put it all together, but I'm hoping that everybody that reads it will find it interesting. And I really want to push, it is not meant to be specifically for gamers. This is for anybody. It'll tell you about, like, again, how to socialize better, how to deal with problems in social events. How do you try and think beyond the basics? If you want to do your own thing, this should be a great tool to help you do that. Maybe you want to make your own game. There's information in here that'll help you do that.
Dude, amazing. It sounds fantastic. I know people are already talking about wish listing this and people are so excited for this project, dude. Do keep us updated. Keep telling us about this awesome project. And I
Yeah.
can't wait to see where it leads us and have a look at it myself. It's going to be brilliant, dude.
Yeah,
Makes me
and
so proud.
I actually meant to say you did get a proofread copy, so you already
Yes,
kind of know what you
I
have.
did.
It's a
I had
very
a little
rough
sneak.
version.
Yeah.
It still has a
I
lot of
thought it was
run-on
brilliant.
sentences. It has some grammatical errors. It's got punctuation issues because my brain goes faster than my fingers sometimes. And so I'll just sit there and and I can't,
Yeah, yeah.
edit as I go. I try not to do that anymore because that's why I never got anything done previously. Now
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
let's just get it all out there and then I'll edit when I go back later. So you got the rough version, the version that's coming out. I promise is polished. I've done the best that I can, and I may update it later if I need to, especially with the print version.
Yep.
So
Yeah, do a second edition.
yeah,
Love
and
that.
as a side note, I did want to mention that it is up for pre-order right now, but if you have Kindle Unlimited, you can actually read it for free. Now, the reason that's
Amazing.
okay is because the way this works is when you get a book through the Kindle Unlimited, the authors get royalties based on pages read. So as you're flipping through it reading, that's counting up, pennies, quarters, or dollars to the author. So you're not paying them the whole amount. You're only paying them per how much information you digest. So that's always an option. Please feel free to utilize that. You do not have to purchase it because as long as you read it, I will get paid either way.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know that. That's super cool to know how that works.
doing this whole process, I've learned so much new stuff too, like
Yeah,
about
I
how to
bet.
publish a book, how you need to edit professionally using software to do so. Like, I just want to write, dude. I don't want to do all this. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's so much to the process, isn't there?
there's a lot to
Oh,
it,
dude,
but it was worth it. So, thank you guys so much. I
hell
really do
yeah.
appreciate it.
Honestly, what a blast. Thank you, Snook, for putting so much time aside to yap with me. We yapped together and it was beautiful. And chat yapped, we yapped, everybody yapped. And I think
Everybody
everyone
yapped.
really enjoyed that whole process. So thank you, dude,
Yeah,
for hanging out
absolutely.
with us and
And thank
sharing all
you.
of your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you for letting me hang. Like, I gotta be honest.
Oh, yeah.
My streaming has been rather it's been a very arduous journey to get to this point, and I've had trouble keeping up with streaming, but you guys always give me inspiration and encouragement, and I've never felt unwanted here ever. And I
Oh,
appreciate the hell out of you guys for that. Thank you.
dude, I was so fucking lucky when we met. Like, again, we met in a Facebook group, and you came into a stream, and Lord knows what you found first, Snook.
Yep.
But you stuck around, and you've been such a brilliant part of this community, and we love every time you come in, whether it's in chat, whether it's on stream, and I hope we get to do something like this again soon, because that was a blast.
Of
Dude,
course,
it's
I
been
would
brilliant.
love to. So,
Hell
look,
yeah.
anytime you want to hit me up, again, we just
Oh,
have to consider
yeah.
that 5 hour difference. That's
Yes,
about it.
next time I do a 24-hour.
Yeah, it's like if you want it in your evening, just make sure I'm
Yep,
awake in the morning so that I can do
yep.
that. But anytime.
Absolutely. Oh, dude, that was amazing. Dude, have a
Yeah.
great rest of the day, whatever you're up to. And thank you so much again, guys. Do check out Snook. Keep updated with the project. Keep letting us know what's happening because we love to hear about community stuff.
Yeah,
And
of
we'll speak
course.
soon, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly,
Hell
the rest of
yeah.
my evening, I'm going to go puff on some things and try to relax a little bit. And then I might end
Do
up
it,
playing
dude.
Baldur's Gate 3 again tonight because I'm finally getting through
Nice.
it.
Excuse me. You said, sorry, finally getting through it. Didn't you tell me you did 8 hours recently?
Yeah, last night. I was up until like
Just getting through
4:30
it.
this morning.
I
So
don't think I've,
like,
oh my lord,
yeah,
I don't think I've ever spent so long on
but
BG3 myself.
that the crazy part is when it first came out with like full launch, I was spending like 10 hours a day like churning through it until I couldn't because, I had work days, but they were separated. So
Yeah.
I played a lot, but I never got past the intro or the very, very beginning of Act 3. Like when you get to the circus, I've never been beyond that.
Ooh, oh my god, how exciting.
Yeah, and I've had like
I
16
always envy
characters.
people that. Oh yeah, I'm guilty of the many, many playthroughs.
Always.
I feel that.
I'm
I
like,
feel
oh, I
that.
want to play this character, and then I'll start over, and then I'll be like, fuck, I've
Yep.
played all this already. Let me make another character. So
love it.
it is what it is.
Oh,
but yeah,
amazing.
I'm gonna hop off of here and let you carry on. You guys were great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Snook. We'll see you soon, dude. Have a good one.
You too.
We'll
Thank
speak
you.
soon. We're going to switch to just chatting friends. I'm going to switch the little scene up. Sorry, you got to see my face again. But can we say thank you again to the awesome Snook, who just gave us so much.
Oop. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me unmute. There we go.
And just gave us so much in terms of wisdom, creativity, awesomeness, all this stuff. Honestly.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but
guys, can I just say,
she's awesome.
Chat was popping,
so.
And I'm sorry that we didn't get to all the comments because I wanted to let myself and Snook, get through the topics that we had. But there were so many interesting things.
Yeah.
I was watching as we were talking. I was watching one of your comments, and there were so many interesting things. I tried to pick out a few, but it really makes it when you guys get so into it as well. And it's amazing to see your passion, your interest, what things engage you. It was, honestly, I had a blast. And guys, if you haven't seen Snoop before, if you haven't checked out his channel, I know he's obviously not been streaming as much, he said himself, recently, but honestly, he's such a welcoming streamer. If you go into his chat, he will always say hi to you, will always welcome you, and actually, usually, whatever he's doing, which is often writing, he will stop that and talk to you.
Yep.
He is very happy to be, delayed on his work to talk to awesome people in chat. So, guys,
Always.
amazing.
Always, yeah.
I'm going to take a cheeky little break to have a pee. I'm going to have a little wee.
All right, that was great. I am so happy that I did this with Cassidy. It was so fun. I always have a good time. Anybody that's watching on my end, you guys know, I tend to not make friends very easily because I prefer to avoid people. I don't like too much socialization, which is why it's such a weird thing when people realize what I like to do is be a dungeon master. So I know it's weird. I know it's an oxymoron, but it is what it is. I don't like doing people stuff very often, but when I'm mentally stimulated, I can put all of that aside and hang out and just be real. And these guys have always been very real. So I'm going to flip over real quick. I'm going to see if it'll at least keep up my screen here so you guys can see. Actually, you know what? You guys already know what it is. The link was in chat. If you want to find it again, it is down in my About Me section. You should be on the top, both Kick and Twitch. Regardless of which platform you prefer to watch on, I have a link on both. That'll take you directly to the pre-order page, and once it launches, that'll be straight to the purchase page. So again, if you've got Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free. I wouldn't recommend just going through the pages because I don't think that actually counts. I think you have to have I think it's like a minimum of 5 to 10 seconds on each page or some shit so that they actually count it as you reading. But whatever. Whether you guys buy it or you read it for free, I don't mind. That's why I put it at the lowest possible price point that I could, is because I didn't think this was worth $5. Considering the amount of effort that I put into it, I wish I could sell it for $8. But unfortunately, that's where the price is really going to be at, is the print version. So I just wanted to let people get the ebook so that they can at least get an idea. And then if they do want a print version to share with friends or family, or even as gifts, those are probably going to be like $8 to $10 because of the cost of printing it, as well as the way that the royalties work out. To make the same amount that I'm making on the ebook, I have to sell the books, the print version, for a minimum of like $8.50, which is insane to think about. But that's because they take the printing cost and the royalties are 10% less. So it's just, it is what it is. But I do want to thank everybody that came out and hung out. I know this was completely unexpected. This was not this is not normal. This is not my normal type of stream. I don't usually do just chatting. But to spend time with Cassidy, I kind of had to. I wanted to go out of my way to go ahead and let her know that I'm encouraging her to continue with her 24-hour stream. She's had my back. She's a good person. I like her a lot. And out of everybody that I've known since I started streaming, really, it's been Vigi, Cassidy, and Nat. Like, they have been my biggest supporters. They've really encouraged me to keep going. Everything that I've accomplished as far as streaming and my writing recently, I owe them the thanks for, genuinely. So if you guys, maybe you want to check out some other streamers, maybe, you want to see what else is out there, of course, go follow Cassidy, go follow Nat Venture Time, go follow Vigi. All of them should be all the way down at the bottom of my home page or whatever, or about page. They're amazing. I mean, there's other streamers I talk to, but I'm not trying to put names out there because I don't know if they want people to know, because I'm practically a nobody around these parts, while they are like in the thousands of views on really good days when they're doing like community stuff or charity stuff. It's usually tens of thousands. So I can't it's one of those things. So I'm not trying to do that. The others though, like I interact with these guys pretty regularly. We're all roughly in the same arena as far as streaming, though Cassidy is obviously way ahead of me. Well, all of them are ahead of me, but so on and so forth. It's cool. I just appreciate you guys hanging out, listening. I will actually try to end up streaming again on Tuesday because I really want to finish Cyberpunk on stream. And once I finish up all of my editing, which should be either tomorrow or Monday, the final version of my ebook will be uploaded to Kindle, and I will not have to touch it anymore until I decide to format for the print version, which means Tuesday and Wednesday I should be completely open. I'm going to try and get back to my normal stuff now that I'm not stressing over the book. I'll stream Tuesday night. I will try to stream Wednesday late morning or early afternoon, since that's usually my best time for it. And Friday, I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and jump back into my D&D prep, because that's what I want to do. That's all I wanted to do. So I'm going to probably be restarting and resetting all of my Neverwinter Nights stuff. I don't want to make a whole new campaign because I put a lot of custom work into this one that I had been running. So I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose what efforts I've already put in, and that's okay. It is what it is, I'm going to flip over. Here we go. Let's see. Where is it? I don't like this. Where is the motherfucking... I guess it won't. Okay. That's cool. Here we go. There we go. So this is what you would be looking for as far as the book. I'm going to leave this up for a minute as I finish up some things, and then I'm going to book it out of here. I don't know who all has stayed around. I don't know if I'm just talking to myself, but regardless, I do want to thank everybody that turned out. You guys are awesome. You guys make me happy. This is why I keep doing this. And yeah, from there, that's pretty much all I got today. I mean, you guys turn out, and I appreciate it every damn time. So thank you guys so much. So much. All right. So that's going to be about it. Let me see. I'm thinking I might try to raid out. Let me see who I could raid out on, if I can raid out on anybody, because I want to pass some of these people over. We'll just go ahead and dump over to Cassidy. That way we're kind of, going in a cycle here. Whether you guys are just hanging around for me or whatever, I do want to dump you over there because she's the reason I streamed today. Absolutely. Okay, so here we go. Let's do raid channel. We are going to raid. I think Cassidy should be at the top of this. Somebody I'm following. You know what? Let's just take these filters off because I already know who I want to find. There we go. We'll do this. Okay. And I will catch all of you later. I appreciate everything. And I will see you guys on the next one. So, as usual, say please, plant more trees, save the bees, and if you save the bees, you can save the titties. So, let's do that. And I will catch you guys next time. I love you all. Good night. And I forgot how to do a raid. Okay, here we go. I got it. All right.